and welcome back to another episode of Gens Before Friends. I am Morbid Plum, and I'm here with my co-hosts Mockingbird
Hello.
and Queen Angie.
Good day.
All right, so how's everybody doing? Are we doing good?
Yeah, doing all right. Doing all right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weekend.
Nice.
Woo woo.
Yeah, I know,
Weekend.
right? Woo!
Got coffee. It's all good.
I need
All
another cup
right.
of coffee.
Everyone needs coffee.
Mhm.
It's like the thing everyone has to have. All right,
Mhm.
so we're back. It's episode 18, and we've got a lot to cover. We had a PTB come out.
Mhm.
And we have a big developer update with tons of killer changes. So we're going to go over all that. We're going to start out with the Iron Maiden collection, which has officially launched. DBD
Mhm.
decided to turn it up to 11. And yeah, so this was announced a while ago, I believe.
Mhm.
I think it was the anniversary
Yeah, I think
Announced in a
so.
live stream. Yeah.
stream. Yeah, it was a live
I
stream.
think it was the anniversary live stream. So
Mhm.
now it's like
Yeah, so
what,
it's
8 months later?
here. Yeah,
7?
it's finally here. But yeah, so there's let's see, there's 4 cosmetics for killers, and we'll go over
Mhm.
those. And then there's a bunch of I say a bunch of there's a all survivors get a live t-shirt, so we'll go over that too. But yeah, so it looks like the dredge gets one as well. And they basically took a lot of Eddie, who's the lead singer. He I guess, helped out with a lot of these cosmetics, or all of them. And they're legendary outfits for the Dredge, the Doctor, the Deathslinger, and the Oni. The Dredges is kind of cool. It's like a weird, I don't know what. It's like 2 people melded together.
Well, I think
But there's
even
like,
more than that.
I think there might be
Like.
more than that. There's like multiple faces, and he's got a guitar, and then someone's upside down, and it's actually kind of cool. It's supposed to be a nightmarish chimera of arms, torsos, heads, and hands centered around an electric guitar. They're just interesting. My favorite, I think I have the whole collection, is for the Doctor, of course, because I love ancient Egypt, but it's Pharaoh Eddie. And apparently his first appearance was in the album Power Slave. He's a ruler who wields ultimate power over his subjects. They quake in fear as their screams echoed within his hollow chest. He raised his scepter over his fallen subjects in triumph of his reign of terror. And yeah, he has a new weapon. It's like I think it's a crook. I think that's what it is. But
Mhm.
yeah, he's really colorful and he looks like an Egyptian pharaoh. And it's kind of a cool look for the Doctor. Not what I would have expected. The next one that we have is Deathslinger, and it's called Stranger Eddie, and its first appearance was Stranger in a Strange Land. He's a ruthless bounty hunter with mechanical flesh and a glowing eye. So he's kind of looks like Terminator almost, with like
Mhm.
red flesh and like abs, and he's got like a really threadbare coat, but he has a high-tech spear gun, and yeah, he looks kind of cool. Like I said, he looks very Terminator. I'm not 100% familiar with all of Iron Maiden's like characters and music and stuff, so this is all kind of new to me. But they look very cool. The last one we have is the Oni, who's a samurai, and his appearance was from the album Senjutsu from 2021. So this is a newer one, and he just looks like a really badass samurai. He has, I think, when he goes into his power, obviously he glows red and everything, but he just is covered in samurai gear, and he's got like 8 swords stabbed all through him. But that's cool. He can make it, right?
It's but a flesh wound.
Yeah, it's just but a flesh wound. So what do you guys think? Do you like think these are pretty cool? Do you say meh, whatever? Like,
I kind of say meh to the only one because I feel like we have things that are similar to that.
yeah.
I mean, not to say it's not cool, but I would say the Dredge, Doctor, and Deathslinger, I really like. I think they're cool, especially the Dredge one. On the face, if you turn the Dredge around, there's a face on there, and then it's like little jail bars, like the teeth are like little jail bars, and there's actual face like in the little jail. So I think that's really detailed. I also really like the Pharaoh one and hope to see people running Dr. Pharaoh. Like I think if I was to rate them, it would be like the Dredge, Doctor, Deathslinger, and then Oni would be like my rating for cool factor.
I could see
What do you,
that.
what do you think, Mocking?
I think they did a really good job with these
Yeah.
cosmetics. I kind of echo same sentiment about the Oni one. Not that it's bad, but it's not. I don't feel like it's as outside the box as the other ones. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like it's not as creative as the other cosmetics. The Death Slinger one is like you just see all the muscle and stuff.
Mhm.
It's kind of grotesque, but really cool. The Dredge one is probably my favorite, though I do not want
Mhm.
to go against the Dredge, but it is probably,
Mhm.
it has, I think, the
Yeah.
most details in it and like little
He's
things
creepy.
um, added to it, just a lot more detail to it. And of course, the Pharaoh one is awesome because I remember I was like tagging you. I was like, look, because I
I
know
know,
how
I
much
was
you
so
love
excited.
Egyptology and all that. So I was like, they have a Pharaoh one now. Yay. So I think I would, yeah, Dredge is definitely my favorite. I don't know. I do like the Deathslinger one a lot.
I
So
do too.
I don't know where Pharaoh and Deathslinger would go on my list, but definitely Oni's at the bottom. But I think they did
Yeah.
a really good job. And you
Yeah.
also get the custom Iron Maiden music in your
Mhm.
lobby if you buy these cosmetics. So if you stream, be sure to turn off copyright music because you will get copyright claims. I
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
out. So, but that's cool. You get music along with it as well.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I also feel really bad because I didn't read the beginning of this. And Eddie is actually their figurehead, so he appears on all of the albums.
Mhm.
Okay.
See, I know nothing about Iron Maiden.
I don't
I've listened to their
either.
music, but yeah, basically he's like their mascot, and he appears in each album on the cover, and they dress him up in like in outfits that fit that album. So
Okay.
he's been around since the beginning of Iron Maiden, which I'm like pretty cool. So yeah. Oops, my bad.
Yeah, I
No.
don't know anything about Iron Maiden, but the cosmetics are great.
Yeah, they're cool. Yay. We just offended a ton of Iron Maiden fans.
No. Well,
It's fine.
I mean, it's like we grew up with it, but it wasn't really like our genre of music.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
it's not like we haven't listened to Iron Maiden.
Yeah. I just don't know their lore. It's fine.
Look, if you love Iron Maiden, you'll definitely love these cosmetics, and they
I
are
Oh
for
think,
yeah.
you.
yeah.
Not every cosmetic collection is for everyone, obviously. So,
For
like, I
sure.
don't know anything about Iron Maiden, so but I would still be interested in these cosmetics because they're just awesome. Like,
Mhm.
whether you like Iron Maiden or not, they did a really good job making them
Yeah.
creepy and
Visually.
scary and detailed.
Yeah.
So, A plus behavior.
All right. Yeah. And so they also, not to leave out survivors, which
Well,
everyone gets,
Yeah.
all survivors get a live T-shirt. So it's a concert T-shirt, and this Iron Maiden T-shirt commemorates Eddie's Killer Realm tour. Don't know if the paid or like the licensed
they don't
survivors get
have it.
them. I
Mm-mm.
don't think so. Yeah,
No,
I
they
No.
think you
don't.
mentioned that
Yeah.
earlier.
Mm-mm. Not the
Um,
licensed characters. So all
but
original characters have the T-shirt available.
yeah, but unfortunately, you have to buy them on every single survivor, which
Mhm.
we have. I think the biggest problem with was this one was that you can't just buy like I don't know, like $10 and you get all of them.
Like a
Mm-hmm.
Um,
pack.
Yeah.
so yeah, like a pack. Yeah, unfortunately, if you do want them for everybody, you have to pay 250 or excels for each T-shirt,
For
and
each one.
that's a
And
lot.
yeah. They have a t-shirt for the female, t-shirt for the male, same t-shirt. Like the t-shirts aren't like customized per character. I feel like if
Yeah.
they were customized per character to where like how the character would read the concert t-shirt or how they would like, sometimes you get those concert t-shirts and you cut it up or you add stuff to it or you
Yeah.
know, make it off shoulder top or something like that. I feel like they customize it. I'd be more willing to spend on multiple people. I only bought it on Michaela because I have to have everything Michaela can wear. Those are rules. But
Facts.
yeah, I wish it was just like some pack and you just got it from everybody since it's just a generic like, concert t-shirt.
Yeah, I didn't look at every single one, but apparently, and in their notes, it claims that some survivors get like a surprise, but I think it's literally just a backstage pass around their neck because I think Naya might have one and she had a pass on hers, and I didn't notice that on Michaela's. So
I think
Well,
Jeff
who
and
yeah,
knows?
Kate
like
have one, I think, don't
I'm
I
they?
looking
think,
Like the
at
yeah,
musician characters kind of have
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I
maybe.
see it on Kate, I see it on Jeff.
Oh, Eugen probably has it then, because
Yeah,
she
Eugen would
that's
probably
her
have it.
industry.
Yeah.
She's
I'm
So
gonna
something.
double check now.
I don't know what those little surprises are, but I'm like, ooh.
Well, I mean, like, really, I don't know. I just wish they would have just been like, here's a little pack and you can. Actually, Eugen does not have a backstage
I don't
pass on
know.
hers.
I'm surprised because she was like a manager. She just
Maybe
tricked
she's
her
Yeah,
already
into
in the
keeping the
realm,
music
so she
energy.
missed out on the shirt.
Well, that's just rude.
I
Oh,
know,
Everyone
right?
else, some other people got them.
And they've been in the fog longer, so how did they get to go?
I don't know. Maybe it's because she's not from America. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that
She
could be it.
Yeah,
was
I mean, yeah.
K-pop.
She's like, "Who's Iron Maiden?"
She's in the K-pop realm, not the
Yeah.
heavy metal realm. So,
All
but
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
backstage passes like whatever. I'm sorry. It covers up the design. I think the design on the shirt isn't bad. So the design on the shirt, it kind of has it sectioned off into 4 segments, and you get a little bit of each of the killer cosmetic
Hmm.
picture. They kind of put them all on there, and I thought that was cool. But like Queen said, they're not customized because like Naya would have like the tank top,
Hmm.
version. Kate would probably like tie it off at the bottom to show her stomach, like some of her other tops. I could think on the females how they could customize on the guys. I don't know. Yeah, it's
Make it
just
like
disappointing.
a tank or a
A tank
cutoff
for
or
some of them,
something for
like
the
David would
guys.
have a
Yeah.
tank, and then maybe
Um,
long sleeve for
a
Jeff or
long
something.
sleeve.
Like some
Yeah.
of them could have long sleeves, short sleeves, cut off the sleeves. Like it's kind of a and on Survivor, especially since you can't just buy them all together.
Yeah. But if you are like, "Hey, I wish I could have this in real life," guess what? You can. Because Dead by
Yay!
Daylight is selling the t-shirts in their store. So you can buy
Ah, interesting. I didn't know
the,
that.
let's see, you
That's a
could
good
get the
tie-in.
Pharaoh. Yeah, you could get the Pharaoh Eddie. You can get the Samurai, and then you can get one with all of them, and then you can get the Death Slinger as well. Um, I think you can get the actual tour shirt. Like on the back, it says Killer Realm Tour, and it has
Set all the realms list.
all the realms listed on the back. It's actually really cool. So yeah, that one's available on their website, apparently. I just Googled it because I wanted to see if this was like a real
A
thing,
real
and it
thing.
popped.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it popped up, and it was like, look, this is
Yeah.
the
So,
shop, and I'm
so
like, wait a minute.
yeah, that's what the survivors have. So if you want to see it,
Yeah, so you can get a closer look, and then if you want one, there you go, merch,
yeah.
right?
Well, this
Hey.
is a good one to do merch for though, because it is the band and all that, and like having a concert tee. So
Yeah, for sure. And I actually kind of really like it. The one that has all of them on it.
mhm.
It's like all of their faces in like a 4 cutout. And then, like I said, the back looks like an actual concert t-shirt. So that's kind of cool. So, I
Yeah.
mean, they didn't even mention that, which, wow, I would have like posted, hey, come buy it.
Only Kate and Jeff have the backstage passes on their shirts. I just went through everybody.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay. So,
interesting.
yeah,
So one female, and one male survivor each have
Hmm.
a backstage pass. I mean,
that's
I
weird.
mean for Jeff it fits. Obviously, that's his
Yeah. I just
style.
figured they would have like done something a little cooler. It's just me. But whatever, it's fine. Yeah, so I guess that's the Iron Maiden collection. They announced it, and hopefully this will kind of encourage them to do more collaborations in the future
Hmm.
with I don't know, maybe other bands, other like designer labels maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, and I think they did a great job on like from concept to what it looks like. They really pulled it off. So cool. Congrats, guys. So yeah, all right. So I guess we'll move on to our next section. There's some developer updates that recently came out, and I'll throw that one to Mockingbird.
Yeah, so the February developer update went through. Quite a few killers are getting some buffs to their base kit, and this was also on PTB. Some of them were minimal, like I'll just go ahead and mention Demogorgon. He is getting a little bit of a buff. He has a decreased successful shred attack cooldown to 2.7 seconds instead of 3. So it's just kind of putting in his shred attack in line with modern standards for basic attack cooldown. But then some of the other killers had more. The big one is Pig is getting a buff, not a nerf.
Uh-oh.
Woo woo. There you go,
Buff,
guys.
buff
Everyone who
Pig.
goes in the chat and is like, buff pig.
They listen to you.
Yep.
And so they have made improvements to the pig's ambush and crouch abilities. And they said the goal with these changes is to make her ambush and stealth abilities more useful and make her less reliant on her reverse bear traps. So go through her ambush. So they increased the ambush duration to 2.3 seconds, and it was 2 seconds. Decreased ambush successful attack cooldown to 2.7 seconds. It was 3. and decreased ambush miss attack cooldown to 1.5 seconds, and it was 2 seconds. And then her crouch they increased the crouch movement speed to 3.8, and then it was 3.6. Wait, that's not right. What is that? M/S.
I thought that was
Yeah,
millisecond.
milliseconds. Decreased time to take the crouch to 1 second. And it
Unless
was
it's like
1.3.
moves per second. I don't know.
So anyways, basically,
Physics.
oh gosh. So she crouches faster, which is good. And then she gets a little
Oh,
bit more time on her ambush and a little less punishment on missing. I did watch Spooky video
it
on
is
it,
meters
and
per second.
meters per second movement speed.
Okay. Makes sense.
What's
Canada.
that? I'm thinking time. Why am I thinking I don't know. Well, it
No,
says
it's
More
fine.
movement
I thought
coffee.
the
speed.
same thing.
More coffee.
More coffee. So she's getting a buff to her ambush, a little bit longer, less punishment. Now, while that's getting buffed, there is kind of a nerf though. Reverse bear traps. The pig can no longer see the ore of the jigsaw boxes. Period.
Ooh.
Reverse bear traps now have a base timer at 3 minutes instead of 2.5 minutes. So while the ambush and crouch is getting buffed, there is a nerf to the traps. And I honestly don't know why they didn't change this when they had the whole issue with pig camping the box.
Camping
But
the
anyway,
boxes.
that's over anyways. But so they say the pig can now cover 15% more ground with her ambush attack, making it harder for survivors to break away from the loop. We've also made miss attacks less punishing, which I said. So they're just basically improving her killer ability. And my personal opinion is this is not overpowered in any way, because typically with the ambush attack, you're using it at like a pallet loop. It's as a mind game, right? And
Yeah.
it's a 50-50. So they're just making it better to use. And in Spooky's video, he was like able to like use it mid chase because like he could crouch faster, so you can get to use your ambush attack more. So I think this is a good change. So any thoughts on Pig?
I'm excited to see changes going against her. I don't think we played a pig in the PTB. We played a lot of played a lot against, excuse me, a lot of
Yeah,
huntress.
we'll get the
But
Yeah,
but
we'll
we
get there.
didn't get a pig. I think people are excited for the huntress changes. I like the fact that she can't see boxes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is very nice. I don't think it's like too OP or anything. It seems like they try to do a balance.
Yeah. So she
So
got stuff and then some stuff got taken away. So do you have any thoughts, Morbid?
Yeah, no, probably the same. That she can't see the jigsaw thingies. I guess they include or they increase the base timer
So you
of
get
the
more
reverse
time.
bear traps. Oh, okay, so that's good.
So you get
Because I know,
another half a minute.
yeah, I mean that is kind of nerve-wracking, but that's cool. Yay. Yeah, I mean I'm surprised that they actually buffed her, but I mean it's not anything that's outrageous. So I think it was a good fix, and hopefully we'll see more of her because actually I like going against her,
Mm-hmm.
so I can boop the
Boop,
snoot.
boop. Okay. Another killer that got some buffs is the Hag, which we did not go against the Hag either, I don't think, in PTB. They say the Hag's most popular add-ons decrease the setting time of her phasma traps and increase the distance which they can be teleported to. With that in mind, we have increased the maximum teleport distance to 48 meters, and it was 40. Decreased the phasma trap setting time to 0.9 seconds, and it was 1 second. And then they also increased the time triggered phasma traps remain active to 6 seconds. It was 5. And they increased the time taken to wipe away the trap to 4 seconds. It was 3.5. So they said they made these adjustments to make it easier to set and teleport to the traps, reducing reliance on add-ons that improve these aspects. And then they increased their duration to give her more time to respond and get in range where the trap is triggered. And then the survivors will have to spend a little more time wiping away the trap, making it more difficult to do it during chase. I didn't know people were doing that.
I did not
That's
know
still
that either.
3.5 seconds. How are you doing that in
how are you doing
chase?
that in
Dang.
chase? Maybe like they're stunning and then doing it, or
I still don't.
blinding.
You would still get hit, whether they're breaking a path. Anyway,
That's kind of impressive if you're pulling that off. Kudos.
Yeah.
let's see. And then they talk about that they are modifying some of the add-ons because of this. So as for triggering traps, the Hag had some add-ons which increase their trigger range. In practice, this would be counterproductive since it would position the survivors further away from the trap, making Then more difficult to hit after teleporting. We have decreased the base trap trigger range to 2.7 meters was 3. The bog water, bloodied water, and bloodied mud add-ons, which previously increased trap trigger range, have had their effects inverted and now decrease trap trigger range. So
Mm.
they've toned down the add-ons basically.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the Hag updates?
I mean, not really. I feel like hag is one of those things like when you go up against a hag, you're either going up against like a baby or someone that is like 100% 5G and gonna slaughter you all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I don't feel like there's an in between often for the hag. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out, especially with some tone downs of the add ons and their buff of that base kit. But yeah, please let us know who's clearing hag traps mid chase and how are you doing that and why aren't you sharing that with the class?
Right.
Like, this is because of you.
This
It's
is
all
all
your
your
fault.
fault.
This is all
All
your
your fault. There is some TTV out there or YouTuber out there that is mad skills in running, clearing hag traps mid chase. Yeah, but yeah, we didn't go against like any
No.
hags at all. So, but again, hag is one of those. I think they're either like it's hard to find like a mid hag. You're either like baby or you're killing everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see the difference that it can make if we go against one. Those are my thoughts.
Do you have any
Yeah,
thoughts, Morbid?
yeah, I feel like the pig, the hag as well, didn't have too many significant updates that I think people were really trying to test them out in the PTB.
Yeah.
So they were just kind of like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. Like my trap will last like 3 seconds longer. So yeah, they're little things, but I guess we'll see how they affect gameplay when they go live. So yeah, those are my thoughts as well.
I mean, I guess this is a good change.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, they're
like,
just kind of,
eh,
I think they're just kind of trying to tweak all the killers a little bit
Yeah.
and their base kit to be more in line with each other as far as,
yeah,
because I don't feel like, well, the teleport distance is an 8 additional meters. The trap set time is like a point of a second, so it's not a huge change. So I feel like they're just little tweaks. Probably the range is the biggest tweak on
yeah,
here.
that seemed like the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, it's really map dependent because like playing Hag on like Crota's Pen is the one that comes to mind, which is a huge map, would be hard to teleport around to. So
She's still gonna jump scare the crap out of me,
yeah,
so it's
Yeah.
fine.
I can see the teleport because you have killers like the Dredge teleport to lockers. Like, do they have like a, does the Dredge also have like a range or is it any locker on the map?
it's any locker.
Right. So I can see that. And then we have our new killer that came out, which is anywhere on the map.
Now with Dredge though,
Me-
there is like a time to distance to travel to a
Yeah.
locker. Like you just don't zap to it.
You
Like
don't zap to
you
it.
have
Yeah.
it's like there's travel time involved. So
They
yeah, it's
might
in
be
and there's like
trying to balance.
yeah, and you get like 3 locker teleports. So if you go to one and you don't like see or hear any survivors and don't get any
Yeah.
killer
You can go to
instinct,
another.
like you can go to another. But yeah, it's kind of like the further away you go though, it's like the longer it takes to get to the locker to that locker. So that's Hag. Next, we have the clown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they say between the two bottles, the clown's afterpiece tonic is the clear favorite for most players. We want to show some love to the afterpiece antidote and make it more a compelling option. So we have increased the afterpiece antidote speed boost duration to 6 seconds. It was 5, and decreased the afterpiece antidote activation time to 2 seconds. It was 2.5. So the antidote is the yellow bottle that gives you a speed boost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Additionally, they've also increased the base bottle carrying capacity to 6. It was 4. And they have also decreased the visual intensity of the afterpiece tonic effects to reduce motion sickness. So there are some videos out there from the PTB about the visual update. So it's definitely not as intense and disorienting, which I kind of have
Which
mixed
has
feelings about. But
just polarized some people in the
Oh boy,
community.
has it.
I think it's a little much how it is, but I think on the other hand, the other purpose of that bottle is to disorient the survivors. Does that make sense? It's like
Yes.
They need to find a middle ground because like they're like there's a little cursor there which you can't like see. I think it's like the way it is like before like P2B changes and stuff go live is too much. But then what they did is the way they reduced it is again too much. Like find a middle ground or make the cursor like bigger.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you can still have like the same effects, but you can make the cursor bigger because some people like really get bad motion sickness. I don't like going up against a clown. I get really bad motion sickness when I get the bottles. So I would like some type of in between because I understand like the purpose of it, but at the same time, who wants to play a game that just makes them nauseous?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like the bottle, unless you run the hinder add-on, it doesn't make the survivor actual like slower.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So the purpose of the bottle is to disorient
Yeah.
and make it so
Yeah.
you visually can't see as well, so that the killer can like maybe mind game you at a pallet and get you down or get a hit. So yeah, we didn't go against the clown. We didn't go against like
Any
any
of
of
the
except for
except the Huntress.
Huntress, which we'll get to still. She's down the list. Apparently,
Because I,
people are excited about Huntress, but not Clown
yeah,
or
they don't care about
Pig.
anybody else. I guess this was something they've already addressed, right? That they added the, like you said, the crosshair cursor in the middle of the screen to like fix it, I guess, back in the day. Because I remember before they had the cursor, I was like, where the hell is the floor? Where the hell's the sky? Like, I got very confused, which is the point of the thing. But yeah, I hate going against him for that reason because sometimes I'm just like, I'm going to stop walking because I can't see anything.
Yeah. It just make the cursor bigger. Like it's so tiny.
Yeah, it is
Like
very small.
just
And
I
it
think
gets
if they
blurry
make
too,
it
doesn't
better.
it?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I
that's something. Everything gets blurry. So if you're all like you can't see it. So maybe like make it to where make it a little bigger and make it to where maybe that one little spot doesn't get blurry. So you have a
yeah,
visual point you can look at. Like it's still the same effect, but
because it looks like, oh no, it's on there because we
it's
have a
tiny
video
though.
that someone posted. Yeah, even
Yeah.
on the update, it is small.
It is tiny.
I can barely see it on
Mhm.
this photo. Yeah, so I mean, it's whatever, I guess, but the comments are not nice to this change on YouTube. So I don't know, I feel like they might end up coming back and like saying, "Hey, we fixed it again." Or something, who knows?
Yeah, I think this will be something that gets addressed after it goes in
Mhm.
live because I don't think anyone really played Clown. Not saying no one
Yeah.
did, but this was not what was being tested the most on PTB. So I guess let's move on to Doctor. Doctor has a slight
Mhm.
change. They say his practices may call his PhD into question, but he's been honing his craft.
Oh my
They're
god.
trying. They're trying to get a little creative with their.
I like it. Good for them.
They just don't. Well, no, they do it on some of the other killers. I'm like getting creative on their wording. So
They're
they
like,
made the
"No, just
following
him."
adjustments to the doctor's shock therapy. They've increased the shock therapy range to 12 meters. It was 10.7. And they decreased shock therapy detonation delay to zero point 0.8 seconds. It was 1 second. And they said they made these changes to make his shock therapy attack feel more responsive and allow it to reach slightly further. Once again, the add-ons which provide similar effects have been toned down to take the space kit increase into account. And that's what they're changing on Doctor is his shock therapy.
Hmm.
So
Like again, like we don't really have context for how it would affect. I could see having that little bit because I feel like as a survivor, we kind of like you kind of know where that border is
Mhm.
for the shock therapy, and this might be a little bit harder to gauge it. Yeah, where was everybody but Huntress?
yep, Huntress is next. I guess let's just talk about Huntress
Because
because
like
all
Let's just talk
literally
about
literally nobody did anything else.
it
Aw,
was new killers, the unknown, and Huntress, and that's
in
all we
Huntress. That
saw.
was it.
Here we go. Out of hatches with no locker in sight. Or maybe the entity sent you to a map with poor line of sight, making it difficult to line up a shot. To help her stay topped up and give her opportunities to attack in busier areas, we have made the following changes. They've increased the base hatchet capacity to 7. It was
Mhm.
5. They've increased movement speed while holding a hatchet to 3.54 meters a second. I got it right that time. It was
Yeah.
3.08 meters per second. And
Oh,
they increased our
fancy.
wind up speed by 10%.
Mhm.
And they said the Mana Braid and the Flower Babushka add ons, which increase the hatchet wind up speed, have their effects reduced slightly to compensate. Thoughts on? I mean, I didn't play as Huntress. What do we think? She has more hatchets and she
Boy, did
moves
we play
faster.
against her.
I mean, we played against her.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play as Huntress, but I don't know. Did anyone really think she needed a buff? Maybe that's the first question.
No.
I mean, not really. All this stuff was very noticeable when you were playing against her in regards to this little buff. I feel like for people who are really good at Huntress, it's very noticeable. And I feel like people who weren't very good at Huntress were definitely trying it out. And I think they were liking what they
Yeah, they were like, this is
Yeah.
great.
But I don't think it's OP because I was still able to like run
Mm-mm.
around like a loop and not
Mm-hmm,
get
mm-hmm.
hit. She was faster,
She
but
was
it also
faster.
depends on skill. Like, because I do watch like Coconuts is a Huntress main,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he was like, did she need this? I think like if you're a Huntress main, you didn't need these changes. I think
Yeah. You were
if
like,
you're a Huntress
cool.
main, you're gonna destroy
Yeah.
everyone anyway. But I guess this is good for newer players. But there are add-ons. You can add an add-on, and she can carry up to like 10 hatchets.
I was
That's
just gonna
crazy.
ask if that was affected by this change.
Yeah, she can hold up to I think 10's the max with an add-on.
Jeez. Okay, wow. All right.
Be counting
Thanks.
hatchets. Get up to 7 and be like, got no more. No, never mind. My bad. She's got 3 more.
Then we're gonna be counting up. There's still more.
There's still
She
more.
got the add-on.
That can be brutal and like
That's a lot.
coconuts, spooky loops is like a hunter's main. Yeah, I think for newer players, it might make trying out Huntress a little more approachable with the extra hatches and movement speed, because there's definitely a learning curve for her. But I can see how a lot of mains are like, I don't know if we really need this because they're just so good at playing her how she is. But it's definitely just an extra buff for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you have FOV slider came in. That was also
Yes.
kind of a buff, not just for her,
Yeah.
but definitely for her also because a lot of
Yeah.
Huntresses ran Shadowborn.
Hmm.
So it kind of feels like a lot of buffs for Huntress lately.
Which I think
But
that's
But
probably why we saw her more often, and
mhm.
is that she had like the biggest update. It was like, oh wow,
I think
okay, cool.
I don't know if
people
she's the
just enjoy
biggest.
playing
I
her
Well, maybe
think,
not
too.
the
yeah.
biggest, but people were like, I want to see what it's like to have more than
Yeah.
5
Yeah, I
hatchets.
guess so. Because I really thought we'd see a pig at some point. Because I thought the pig change I think is very significant for
Hmm.
pig, more so than Huntress. But yeah, we just saw Huntress.
It
It was
was
the
kind of
first
annoying.
match we played in PTB was Huntress.
Yeah, it's like we want to play the
And
new killer
everyone was
Huntress.
disconnecting.
Hmm.
Yay PTB. That's just
I
I
how
gotta
know.
love
PTB
it.
is.
Gotta love it.
So the other thing we can talk about is also Mangled
Mm-hmm.
is getting a bit of a reworked. So Mangled currently provides a lot of value throughout the match by slowing down survivor healing. At the moment, there's no way for survivors to remove the Mangled effect other than healing through it. We want to make the status effect more interesting and reduce some risk and reward to it. The Mangle status effect will now have a limited duration, with the exact duration depending on the source and range between 60 and 90 seconds. This maintains Mangle's effectiveness at slowing down healing while forcing survivors to make a choice. Do they spend more time to heal now or risk staying injured until the effect expires? What do we think about Mangled?
I think I like the changes personally.
Yeah,
Yes.
same. I'm
Yeah.
glad that there's a duration
Mm-hmm.
now, that it's not
Mm-hmm.
just permanently being able to not heal ourselves in a timely manner.
Yes. I agree. I think this is a good change and it's not I feel like Mangle can be kind of oppressive. It is on Sloppy
Yeah, for
Butcher,
sure.
killers. There are killers that have add-ons to apply Mangled. So I'm glad there's a timer because yeah, it's very slow. The only way to
And it's
really
yeah.
combat it is to have inner healing or will make it.
Yeah, and I
So
feel like it's already slowed down anyway, like if you self heal, so it's like great.
oh gosh, self-care.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good change, and I think it'll
Mm-hmm.
be a welcome thing for most survivors. I don't know if there's anyone who would hate this change.
Maybe killer mains? I don't
Maybe
know.
I
killer
mean, yeah,
mains.
maybe killer maids.
But
To be like, what is this crap?
it's still gonna be 60 to 90
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
So if you're running nurses with this, you still have time to find people.
Hmm.
Or if they waited out, then you find them injured. So yeah, it's
Yeah. Don't worry, you Legion players. You're still okay.
oh my goodness. Oh.
Just saying what we were all thinking.
Okay, the last update in this developer update was the Bloodware improvements. So, in previous update, we added the ability to automatically spend blood points to the blood web. To ensure the newer players took the time to familiarize themselves with the items in the blood web, this button was originally hidden until the selected character had been prestiged at least once. Since this feature was added, we received many requests to show this button on other characters before their prestige, so we're doing just that. The automatic purchase option will now appear in all characters' blood webs once any character has been prestiged once. So spend away.
Yay!
So yay, they're adding the button to when you're not the
Woo,
character's not
woo.
prestiged.
Finally.
Yes, especially for Survivor, because if you've prestiged one Survivor, you've prestiged all. Like you know what's on the blood web. It's all the same stuff. I mean, I get the reason why they kind of did this, but I don't know if you needed like 50 levels before you got
Oh
the
yeah, I
button.
agree.
Like maybe if they had wanted to do this initially, they should have just done like the first 10 levels or something, and then added the button. But anyway, buttons added.
Yeah, I mean,
Yay.
maybe they could have done that to like, I don't know, base people, like if you're just starting out or something.
Mhm.
Because I know they were like, we want you to familiarize yourself with it. It's like, okay, why?
I
All
don't
I
know.
need are my blood point offerings, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And maybe some map offerings. Like that's the only thing I need to familiarize myself with. No one's using Murky Region. At least I don't think so.
We just had that. Queen
All
and
right,
I
never
just
mind.
had that with
People,
our ghost event.
just kidding.
Mhm.
People use Murky Regions apparently.
Yeah, killers do.
Maybe they should work on that. Like the Murky Region just it does nothing.
On some maps it looks good, and some maps it's just
Yeah.
black clouds.
It's just black clouds, especially like the brighter maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it on RPD. It wasn't really noticeable.
Well, we noticed it. It's just it's not the right
Yeah.
map though to like be hidden.
Yeah.
Like the killer played it, and I get why it was a ghosty. They want to try to like hide and sneak up on people,
It's like, what is that
but
black
this was not the
blob?
map for this. But okay, that was all the developer update. Do we want to hit the stats first, and then move
Yeah,
on
we
to-
can talk
okay.
some stats.
I have them pulled up, so
I love
Okay.
a good data stat.
Yeah.
yeah. So we also got some stats on the 15th. Let's go through what we've learned. This is the date. The date range is December 30th through January 29th. So just keep that in mind because we have had some updates since then. But popular perks, we're going to start with Survivor. So we have our top Survivor perks is number 1, Windows of Opportunity.
Yeah,
2
makes
is
sense.
Adrenaline. 3 is Life. 4 is Resilience. 5 is Deja Vu. 6 is Self-Care. 7 Sprint Burst. 8 Dead Hard. 9 Bond. And 10 is Kindred. So these are our top Survivor
Interesting.
perks. Yeah. So in watching a couple videos like Otts and Coconut, so
Mhm.
self-care is at number 6. So I just want to mention this because they mentioned this apparently in Asia. Botany knowledge, self-care is very popular combo. So that might be where self-care is coming in the middle. But
Which everybody complains about distortion, and it's not on that list. So I'm just
yeah.
pulling that out.
Yeah, we do run distortion. But yeah, as much
Mhm.
as distortion gets complained about, it is not in the top 10.
Yeah, I
So
thought for sure it would have been, and it was not. So
y'all have any thoughts or perks you're surprised to see on this list, or not perks you thought would be on this list?
Kindred. Is that something that's going up?
So it looks like the same. So that one's number 10.
Yeah.
So if it has the green arrow, that means it went up. So Kindred stayed the same. Self-care, resilience, windows have not gone up. So
I don't know. I mean, Deja Vu, I can see. Was Deja Vu on there? No.
yeah, it's number 5.
Number
okay.
5. Yeah.
Right, that one's number 5. Trying to get the eyes. I was like,
Yeah, I know. I
Deja
was like,
Vu.
there's so many eyeball ones.
Which eye perk is this?
I don't know. It's interesting. I always like these. I like seeing like what has become, I guess, the new meta is like the thing they say now, right? It's like this is what kids say these days. But yeah, I don't know if there's any that like shock me. I am shocked that distortion's not on there. I will say that.
I'm shocked resilience is number 4. I'm just gonna be honest.
I mean,
Like,
that one, I don't really see a lot of, well, I guess I do see a lot of people playing it now, but I'm surprised it's become such a popular one.
yeah, I'm surprised it's at top 5. I mean, it's not a bad perk, so you do stuff faster when you're injured. It's good for
Mhm.
like chase and vaulting, stuff like that. But I'm kind of surprised it's so high because I feel like more experienced players run it that are like better at looping. They're not afraid to be injured. Are the ones that run
Yeah.
this typically. That's our top 10. And I mean, apparently they haven't killed Dead Hard. It's at number 8.
Well, I still think that once people got used to it
Mm-hmm.
and pairing it with some of the other perks that have come out, I don't think it's going anywhere because it's still one of the better second chance perks that we have when a lot of the other ones have been seriously nerfed.
Yeah, it's a good perk still. When I play killer, I come across a lot of players that
Hmm.
run Dead Hard. Life is the most popular exhaustion perk on this list at number 3, and then Sprint Burst 7, Dead Hard 8. So I don't know if we're surprised Life is the most popular.
I feel like a lot of people thought it was most popular. I can't say anything. I'm an avid Life user.
Yeah, I was like, I run live,
Um,
so.
Only because like I have been trying to use sprint bursts more, but I forget and then I feel like I waste it. Whereas life, I always try to run around a window or a pallet, and I feel like I get the most use out of it other than sprint burst because you kind of have to hold it and you really have to pay attention to like your exhaustion. Like if you're gonna try like 99 it,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like life is just I have to I think less about it, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of know it's there for the most part. It helps me get out of those chases.
I
And then I don't
run
have
too
to worry
much.
about like, yeah, I don't have to worry about running around and wasting it.
See, I love Sprint Burst. Sprint Burst is
Yeah.
my favorite because I feel like I can go do that gen that's in a not great spot or in the open and
In
get
like
to
the
like a
middle.
pallet.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I can
Yeah.
get away from the killer quickly. It has saved me so many times, especially against like Bubba's, things like that, to like get to safety quickly. Here we go, survivor perks. So let's move on to killer perks.
Mm.
Yay.
Number 1, pop.
Oh.
2, scorch
What?
hook.
What?
Pop is number 1.
Yeah. What?
Even though they
You
Interesting.
don't say?
changed it. Yep, pop. Then followed by number 2, scorch hook, pain res.
Oh, we
3,
never saw that coming.
sloppy.
Yep.
4, is it Jolt or Surge now? I don't remember. They've brought Stranger Things back, and now I have to revert my brain back to like the old
I
days.
know.
Demos perk. And then 5 is Corrupt. 6, Save the Best. For last, 7 is
Really?
Barbecue. 8, No Ed.
Eh,
9, Lethal. And 10 is Bamboozle. I believe this is Bamboozle. I'm like, Spirit Fury? Bamboozle?
I think it might be bamboo.
It's Bamboozle, I believe.
Tell you what, I never saw Pop Pain Rest coming. I'm so surprised.
With Corrupt at number 5.
With Corrupt.
And
Shocker.
Surge.
Lethal is kind of low.
It's gone down. Yeah.
It's gone down.
Yeah, it's down. So Surge, Barbecue, and Lethal are actually down. Everything else is up. Which, I mean, Lethal and
Yeah.
Barbecue go together very well,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But yeah, we have in the top 5, a lot of gen perks. The only one that's not a gen perk is Sloppy.
Save the Best kind of went up when
Yeah.
some newer killer perks came out and people like were pairing them.
Mm-hmm.
So pairing them. I can't speak together. But I want to say Pop, Pain, Res, Corrupt. I mean, that's almost in every single match.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Too.
Yeah. I guess I just
Um,
haven't seen Save the Best for last in a while, so that's why I was kind of like, that one's interesting
Yeah.
that it's
They
Well,
recently
there.
changed it too, so I'll have to see if it
yeah,
stays up
if it
here.
stays.
Yeah, it's true.
Because now they've changed it to where when the obsession loses health state, you lose 2 tokens instead of 1. So we'll have to see if it maintains that spot or if it'll go down. I don't. Yeah, I haven't ran it since they changed it so much because I mean it's only a good perk on certain killers. So, and since they've changed it now, it's the obsession. It's whenever the obsession loses a health state. So people would run it with killers that they could use their killer power on to avoid losing a stack. And now that's not the case anymore. So we'll have to see if it stays up at number 6 or if it'll go down. So any other thoughts?
Not really. I mean, those sound about the normal killer perks we're
Sound
seeing
about
now.
right.
That just, yeah, it
They
sounds about
sound
right.
about right.
I don't know if I've seen Noed that much though for being number
It-
8 though. I mean we've had it a bit, but
We've had it a bit. I feel like
but not
it's
for
gone
number
up,
8.
right?
Yeah, it's gone up.
It's going up.
It's
Yeah.
11% higher, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
if
it's
I'm on the right.
11%.
Yeah.
It's been one of those things like for a while we haven't had to worry about it. And then all of a sudden we're in matches. We're like, I feel like this is
Boom.
Noed map. Like I'm seeing like a totem. I'm like, that's Noed. I know it's Noed. And at the end we're like, oh yeah, it's Noed. It might just be because of some of the changes that have happened. Again, I am expecting some of these perks to be lower like the next time they release just because of changes that have happened and pairings that have changed.
Mhm.
But I think people are like, you know what? I feel like those in-game builds are starting to come back. And
Yeah.
so that's why I know it's going back up.
Okay, so let's move on to killer picks. Okay, popular killers. And remember, this is from December 30th to January 29th. So, of course, number 1 is Chucky because he was our newest killer. So, obviously, a lot of people were playing him. I don't think this is a surprise. Number 2, Huntress.
Don't say.
So remember, this is pick rate. So, a lot of people playing Huntress. 3 is Wraith, 4, Legion, 5, Wesker, 6, Trapper, 7, Michael, 8, Nurse, 9, Blight, and 10 is Ghosty. And then they also have all the killers after that. The least played is Twins. Actually, there's a bunch at 1%. Artist, Hag, Nightmare, and Singularity, and Twins are at 1% pick rate.
Aw, poor twins.
Just to kind of,
Aw.
well, hopefully, I mean, it'll probably go up when they ever do that rework they've been
That's
doing
true.
Yeah.
for 2 to 3 years now.
I was like, but I'm okay with it. I don't like playing them anyway.
So just to kind of mention that's what's at the bottom, and then everyone else is kind of in the middle. So
Yeah. I'm
any
kind of. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just gonna ask thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm kind of surprised that Nemi is, or not Nemesis, Wesker's not higher.
He used to be. He's
He-
gone
And-
down a bit.
And it
He's
looks
gone
like, yeah, he's
down.
dropped, but I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like he's the one we go against the most.
Well, I
Yeah.
think this was when a lot of changes happened. Like Trapper had the changes.
That's true.
And I'll
I
always be
do-
around for Trapper love. I like going up against a Trapper.
Yeah.
Chucky, I think a lot of people just find that he's a fun killer to play. And you have the third person point of view. I think a lot of people are enjoying that. Huntress, I feel like Huntress and kind of Wraith are always going to be up there, especially
Yeah.
Wraith because he's a newbie killer for like people
He's
coming
a base
in.
kit killer. You
base,
get him with
yeah.
the base game. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
killers in here that you get with the base game. Trapper, Wraith, Nurse,
Yeah.
Huntress. So
Blight probably went up just because of Blight changes.
Mm-hmm.
Legion, I don't know. Let's make it a goal to push Legion down, guys.
Avery, we need you to nerf Legion.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they are with the mangled stuff, so but
Skull Merchant, it's fine where she is. If we can make it lower, I'd make it happier.
she's at
but
2%. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she's towards the bottom. She's the bottom half.
Yeah. I think I'd feel better if it was like 0.05 or something.
I'm just
we
waiting
did
for her
have
the kill switch.
a Skull Merchant recently.
I am
got-
kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
shocked that the doctor's so high.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's
I
next
just-
after Ghosty.
I'm like, I have not played a doctor in a hot minute, so
But it
Yeah.
seems kind of right for the killer picks. I feel like when we go
Mhm.
into match, these are the killers that we have been facing.
Well,
yeah,
I
this
don't know if we've
definitely
seen-
tracks.
I don't know if we've seen a Wraith. I don't feel like I've seen a Wraith recently.
Yeah.
Except for that one.
To be honest, I'm like, Wraith? I don't know.
There's a lot of Michael with the lights out, I'll tell you that. A lot of
Well,
Weskers with the
when it
lights
was
out.
lights out.
Cappers.
I don't know if this included lights out. This
No,
ended
it wasn't, but
January 29th.
wouldn't surprise me if like the next time they released it, he was higher.
Well,
Him and
I think,
Wesker were higher, maybe.
well, I don't know if they do stats, if they'll edit out the lights out modifier picks. You know, what I mean, like are these all picks from ranked match versus lights out?
That'd be interesting if they do release them and it was sometime during the lights out.
So then we have deadliest killer. So this is kill rates, obviously, all MMRs included. So number 1 is Lady Voldemort with 70%.
People be killing themselves on Hook.
2 is Onryo, and I believe this is old Onryo. So just keep that in mind. They've reworked Onryo since the States, so I imagine she will change somewhere in the lineup. And then 3 is the Cenobite. 4 is Freddy the Nightmare. 5 Plague. 6 is Pig. 7 Dredge. 8 Spirit. 9 Mikey. And 10 Wesker. And
Yeah.
so
I don't think Lady Voldemort deserves to be up there. I wonder what they.
now it says that these do not include DCs. So
Oh, really?
so but it does include if people killed themselves on Hook.
Oh, that's
So
right. I think in
Yeah, that's what I'm
DC.
saying.
Yeah,
This
So
is people killing themselves on
yeah.
Hook. Or just giving up because the
Yeah.
match is going so long.
It's like, I just want to die. Let me leave.
I don't I don't think this equates to skill at all.
I'm sure there's some
with
people
her.
who are like, oh my God, I'm so good at this. It's like, no, everyone just killing themselves.
People do. Like, as soon as you
Oh,
load into
yeah.
match and they find out, they kill themselves for first hook. They just go the down, or the match goes on for so long because she's still doing, for the most part, when we see her, a 3-gen play style. The numbers are skewed here. I don't think that she is the number one. She is the number one person people are killing themselves against.
And that might be what's going on with Onryo as well, along with the whole condemned play style that was going on in her previous rework. So that's probably why Onryo is also at number 2, because of the condemned status was so strong with the rework they did. But now they've reverted her back, so I imagine she will drop somewhat. But
Cenobite, like, I will admit, I don't like going up against Cenobite. So you either have the really good ones, but I feel like Cenobite's also a killer where you find people giving up.
Well, it's also because Cenobite has like a secondary objective built into him. You have to do the box. The box is not optional. You can't just leave it. You have to do it, or you can't do anything in the match, which is why I think he's at number 3. He has like a built-in secondary objective. And so, and then like Freddy, okay, what's most interesting, I was just looking at. So Freddy's number 4, but he's also on the lowest pick rate. He was at 1%. So
the 2 Freddy mains, you guys are killing it.
I mean, I don't mind playing Freddy. I mainly
don't mind
Freddy
either
when I have a daily for him. I like playing Palette Freddy, which doesn't always get me like a 4K, obviously. I like the play style. I like tricking survivors into throwing that fake palette and getting satisfaction and hitting them afterwards.
It's the worst thing in the world when you realize it's fake and you're just like, it's such a morale. Like, you're like, oh man. The morale lowers morale.
Yeah.
For real. The other ones aren't too surprising. I don't like going up against Dredge.
No.
I hate Nightfall. I just want to go in a corner and weep.
I just want to hate my life by myself in a corner.
Plague, I go up against the Plague anytime. We just recently had a good Plague match. I like the Plague. Piggy, same. I like the Piggy. Spirit, we got rolled by a Spirit earlier.
Yeah. I guess
Mikey's,
I guess, and then the lowest on kill rate was Doctor, actually.
Well, yeah, lowest is Doctor.
Which is kind of surprising because I don't think Doctor is, well, he's not like super, well, I mean, he's mid on strength, but I guess I find him easy to play. Like, he is kind of one of those beginner killers you can play, and his power is easy to understand. You shock people, they scream. So I'm kind of surprised. So the lowest one is Doctor, and then Hillbilly is above him, and then Nurse. Those are kind of the lowest on the kill rate, which is interesting because like Nurse is like, again, like comparing the pick rate, is number 8 pick rate. And I'm kind of surprised she's on the lower end because usually if people main Nurse, they will like annihilate you as Survivor. Like a good Nurse, it's over, right?
I think it's just like people pick Nurse as a learning curve.
Yeah,
I don't
for sure.
feel like when I hear Nurse, it doesn't like terrify me as a survivor. Because it's essentially in that first run, whoever nurse finds first, you're going to learn, is this a baby? Is this like mid, or is this someone really good? And if you're a Swiffing, you can kind of tell your team, and there's all play styles you can combat it, essentially. But yeah, if you have a really good nurse, they're just going to slaughter you. I'll tell you what, all the baby nurses are just throwing off the percentage.
Maybe so. And she is hard to learn. Like I have not
Mm-hmm.
gotten anywhere close to
Those
being good with
blinks.
her. She's not the one I'm practicing right now because of the Rift. I've been playing a lot of Hillbilly,
Yeah.
and he just got. And I wonder if he'll go up also since he just recently got buffed with the overdrive mechanic. Because I think this was probably before that. So I feel like these numbers might change quite a bit since they've been buffing killers and tweaking the base kits and stuff. So we'll have to see if these buffs and stuff make the kill rates change or the pick rate, obviously. But like they're buffing Pig and she's already at number 6, but they're nerfing the bear trap, so maybe that will even out. Maybe she'll stay the same. I don't know.
It'd be interesting if they just would have waited to get another month of numbers to see like what would happen. Because I feel like every time they have kind of done this, they have given us stats like mid transition.
Yeah, it's not like they give them to us. I mean, they're giving us more stats, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in the past year, but it's not like we get stats every month though either. I think it'd be
Yeah.
one thing if it was like every month we got stats and then we could compare,
And see
Yeah.
trends.
and then see what the trends are and be like, well, this update came out and these things got changed, so and can see that, but I don't know. Maybe they're working towards giving it to us more consistently. Any other thoughts on the deadliest
Mm-mm.
killer nerf? Skull Merchant, please.
Yeah.
Decide what you want her to do because she does everything. You got like
Yeah.
10 status effects when you play against her. Like, just decide, figure out. Give her 2 drones,
We were
please.
really surprised the other day when we played against one and you were in chase and you're like, oh my god, she did what she was supposed to do. And then
She
she went
used
back
this.
to camping gens.
I was like, no. Yeah, because she's so using the drones in chase. Oh my. No. No, y'all. No. Okay, in the last part, we have the survival rates. They're giving us. Well, okay, let me read what they say in their paragraph. So, last but certainly not least, many of you were curious about the survivors' odds of escaping depending on if they're flying solo or playing with friends. In this case, a higher survival rate would mean that a survivor is escaping more. We've also included the survival rates of high MMR survivors as well for those who are curious. Okay, so they have the split for high MMR, which I don't even know what constitutes high MMR. But one
Yeah.
last time, we'd like to remind you that these numbers do not paint a full picture. For instance, a group of friends may be more coordinated, but they might also be more willing to sacrifice themselves in an attempt to save their friends. So they have the rates broken up into overall and high MMR. So let me just read off. So solo queue. So for solo overall is 40.34%. High MMR is 39.42%. For 2 survivors, so doing together, the overall survivor rate is 40.1%, and it's actually the same for high MMR, exact same percentage. So 40.1% overall and for high MMR. 3 survivors, the overall survival rate is 40.56%. High MMR is 42.46%. And then 4 survivors, so full Swift, overall is 43.09%, and high MMR is 48.3%. They're all kind of in the same range, the 40% range.
Yeah.
Obviously, high MMR full Swift is closer to 50, but I believe like in the past the devs have said their ideal kill rate for killers is around 60%, so this kind of falls in line
Mm-hmm.
with what the devs have said they've wanted.
60-40 split. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if any of these numbers are surprising or.
Mm-mm. I don't think
No.
so. I think it goes to what we've been saying, that solo is harder to escape from by yourself. Like, especially high MMR. Like, that's one thing I don't like doing. Because I would say that we're in higher MMR. I don't like doing solo by myself. We do a lot of duos and trios. And that seems about right
Mm-hmm.
for the games that we play. So I don't find them surprising kind of at all.
I guess looking at it, there is a big difference between high MMR solo and for survivor.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
almost a little less than 10% difference. Now, the overall MMR is kind of almost around the same for solo versus through 3 survivors. It's all around 40%.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the high MMR is definitely kind of more spread out. And I think that's probably because high MMR, you're seeing different killers than you are at lower MMR.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And I would say maybe the 2 survivors is a little less than solo, only because I do think that you will sacrifice yourself for your duo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a lot of variables, obviously, in this game
Mm-hmm.
that go into whether you want to, even if you want to survive or not. Like if we're playing and it's like, well, Morbid needs to, escape
Mm-hmm.
to do this daily or this rift challenge, then yeah, we're gonna like
Will sacrifice
sacrifice,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah, to try to
Mm-hmm.
like when you're. I think the other thing that comes into play is like all the new rift stuff, challenges they put in. You're doing all these kind of side objectives, and so sometimes I'm like, well, I'll try to go for a save. I don't need to get
Mm-hmm.
out. But anyway, we got stats, so yay. It's good that
Yay.
they're giving us stats, so that's a positive. So hopefully they'll continue giving us stats. And again, this was from December 30th through January 29th. I think that's all of the developer updates. And now we can move on to the big
The new
P2B
chapter.
new chapter. Take it, Queen.
Yay.
Yeah. So we had the PTB. We have a new chapter coming out. It is the All Things Wicked chapter, supposedly set to be released sometime around like March 12th.
Yeah, I think that
Um,
was it.
yeah, in the chapter, we get a new killer, a new survivor, and an amazing map.
Woo.
So let's kind of talk about our new survivor. Her name is Sable Ward, and we love her because not only is she adorable, but she is a bestie of Michaela.
Yeah.
Um, so in the lore, we did get some Michaela lore, which we stan always. Sable is freaking adorable. I'm excited to see cosmetics that are be coming out. I'm also excited to be able to have my besties play her while we play the game, and we can do
Yeah.
Michaela Sable duos. So I'm excited for that. Sable, to kind of give a rundown on her lore, she is, yeah, she feels out of place. She doesn't feel like she should have been, her parents. She's like, I don't understand my parents, like how they give birth to me. She likes Halloween. She likes bugs and lizards and, you know, occult stuff. So she kind of feels out of place in her town of Greenville. And then her bestie disappears, Michaela, while she's on stage. If you don't know the Michaela lore, she's on stage and she kind of disappears. And Sable decides to go find her and ends up in the fog, essentially. She did come with some perks. Now, in PTB, one of the perks was different than what it's gonna be. So we'll talk about both of those. Sable came with a new type of perk, an invocation. So Michaela brought us the boons. Sable's bringing us invocations. All of Sable's perks has to do with basements.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be spending some time in the basement. But her first perk, invocation Weaving Spiders, says the place where fear festers and terror treads is also where those with a gift can reach across the veil. When in the basement near the circle, so there's a salt circle kind of in the back of the basement, you can press the ability button to begin the invocation. It takes 120 seconds to complete. 2 minutes. During an invocation, your aura is revealed to all other survivors and they can join in, which can accelerate the process by 100% if they also have the invocation perk equipped, or if they don't have it equipped, it's 50%. And once the invocation is completed, there are some effects. So, first effect, all generators instantly receive either a 912 or 15 charges of repair progress. The 15 charges, I don't know if we estimated, it's kind of like 20% of a piston. Like if you're thinking of each piston as 25%, it feels like it's like 15 to 20% of a piston. You will also automatically enter the injured state and suffer from the broken status, so you cannot heal for the remainder of the trial. Keep in mind that if someone else has a perk and they join you, it's like anyone doing this, you're gonna end up broken. So, and completing an invocation dispels all invocation perks for the remainder of the trial for all survivors. So, if one person goes down there and does it, and you have it, you're not gonna be able to use it. So, it just completely shuts it down for everybody. What did you guys think of the new invocation perk? Mocking or morbid?
I don't think it's
Uh,
worth running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it was, because the issue is there's lots of issues. There's lots of issues
Mhm.
with this perk. I think that don't make it worth running. It takes 2 minutes to get it on the gen,
Mhm.
and it only adds charges. So I think if it acted like more like a brand new part and took charges off the
Mhm.
gens, it would be worth running, because basically what happens is you use it and then the killer can still kick the gens and get rid of the charges. I feel like for the trade-off of being broken the rest of the match, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wouldn't, if I was going to run this, I would not use it immediately. I would wait till like the last couple gens, maybe, where we really need the pressure, or maybe we're in a 3-gen situation and need to, add pressure, but still you're broken for the rest of the trial. And yeah, the adding the charges, I think it needs a considerable buff. I don't think the risk reward is worth it in this case. It takes too long, and then yeah, you can have more people join you, but more people join you, then there's no one on gens.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, if it took charges off like a brand new part, I would be more inclined to join and help do that, because if you took charges off all the gens, even like the 10% like a brand new part, I would say that's worth it, but not how it is right now. And yeah, and then in disables, no one else can run the perk. So basically, I wouldn't run this solo. Obviously, you don't know who else is running it. Probably the only time I'm going to run this is when I'm trying to do adept. I'm just going to put it out there. Like, I'll do Sable adept, and
And that's it.
and I may
That's
not
it.
even use this perk. Like, I don't know if it'll be worth using, because then I'm broken and I need to escape. So I don't know. But I don't think everyone becomes broken if you help and you have this perk. I think it's just the person who
Who
initiates it.
initiates it?
I
Maybe we need to
think,
try it. Because I feel like if you have the perk, how would it know?
because you're the first
Um,
one to start it.
you're the first one to start. But also, like, if you get off, so if you're doing the invocation and you get off the salt circle, like, say the killer's coming, it starts to go down as well. So your progress doesn't stay there. So if the killer comes in the basement, which we saw was initially every match, everyone was running straight to the basement trying to do it. Killer would come in, they'd hop into a locker, get back on there, and start like the process over again. Yeah, the risk reward, I agree. If it was permanent charges off of a gen, but at the same time, all we saw was this is easily combated as it is by Ruin. Everyone was just running Ruin, which means that the charges were just going off right away. I don't know. Morbid, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, kind of the same as you guys. I feel like the risk does not outweigh the reward. There was, I think I had sent it to Mockingbird, but there was a streamer who supposedly popped all 5 gens in one go, but they were trolling it. And I was like, oh my God, is this real? Like, I got so excited, but sadly it's not. And
No.
Hmm.
you can't do any of that. Yeah, I don't see how this is like a good perk. It takes forever. That's like my complaint, I think, is
2 minutes is a long
You
time.
can do a
yeah.
gen in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I would say, especially considering that person, which you guys had said this, but like that person's out of commission now. So they're not getting anybody off hook. They're not doing a gen. They're not doing anything.
Not running the
2
killers. At
people
least
out of
3 other
commission.
people to do everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. 2 player out of commission, and then they're gonna tell you that you weren't doing anything.
Yeah. And then it's like,
Sorry, we had an instant.
I'm sure if I was a killer,
We're
I'd be
salty
like,
survivors in PTV. I'm like,
I'd
which of
be,
you was in the basement locker?
Yeah, for two
yeah.
minutes, and they're like, the queen didn't do anything. The whole time I was trying to break the 3-gen, you guys were running.
Right?
Yeah,
This is all your
we'll have to
fault.
talk about the 3-gen on the new map. That's an issue, but
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
I had to get
No,
those
you're
feelings
fine.
out.
Get it
But yeah,
out.
so I just yeah, I don't see this one being a big thing. I'm sure if you were a killer, you're like, where is everybody? And they're all in the
Go to the
basement
basement.
just rubbing in a
There was
circle.
there was a meme about that. Like, where is everyone? And everyone's at the salt circle.
So yeah, I mean, like you said, I think like maybe if you've gotten significant progress on a ton of gens, but you're still being kind of pressured a
Yeah.
lot, this might work out. But like if you're going there in the first 5 seconds of the game, no.
Well, I,
There's
Yeah.
no point.
I think it'll play differently in live because obviously PTB people are trying out the perks and stuff, so they're
Mhm.
like immediately running to the basement at the beginning of the game to get this up. And I don't think the beginning of the match is when you should use this. I feel like you should use it later.
Yeah, like after popping 2 gens.
When you get down
And
to
it,
2 to 3
yeah.
gens, to try to put pressure on the gens to try to break 3 gens, but still it takes 2 minutes. Like I don't know, I just can't wrap my head around using this perk.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was an odd choice, I think. I don't know. I think
Well,
they wanted to do something with like assault circle and like,
mm,
oh, well, she's very occultish, not occultist, but like, like very into like Wiccan or whatever.
No,
And
the
they like,
occult is what she's into. It's in her lore.
okay, so that's right. Okay. I just didn't want to say the wrong word. But yeah, so, like they're like, oh, let's bring this in there. There's like a summoning circle. And it's like, okay. But you guys totally went in the wrong direction.
I mean, I'll be glad if they come out with some more invocation
Mhm.
perks and try some different things because I feel like we did get a boon with Alan Wake, but other than that, I feel like the boons they've kind of have given up on. Like they came out with Circle of
Oh,
Healing
yeah.
with Michaela. I mean, Michaela had all the boons. That was her
Well, then
new
they
kind of
then they
thing.
nerfed them.
And then they're like, it's too strong, it's too strong, and then they nerfed it. So
Killed by inner healing. Or not
I'm
inner
glad
healing.
they're
Sorry.
trying to do a new kind of type of perk,
Yeah.
and that it's. I mean, I think it's kind of creative. I just think how this perk works is kind of trash. Like, it's not that I don't like the whole salt circle idea and all that, and I think it's cool you could like all be in the circle and help out, but this perk just doesn't make sense to run. Like we for all the reasons we've already stated, it's just not a
Especially
strong
to
Yeah.
be
perk.
permanently broken. Like you can have builds. Like if you're running this perk, you obviously have to run a build where if you're broken, like we ran it with like resilience and stuff like that because we knew we weren't going to be able to heal. You definitely have to run a certain build. Again, the killer can go take off your hard work. I think to be broken for the rest of the trial, the killer shouldn't be able to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it should be a mass borrowed part essentially is what I should think it should be. But there's other perks. So she also has Strength in the Shadows, which is a chance for renewed power downward danger calls home. So when you're in the basement,
Ooh.
Strength in the Shadow activates and unlocks the Strength in the Shadow ability, so allowing you to self-heal without needing a medkit at 60% of the normal speed. And upon finishing Heal in the Basement, you reveal the Aura of the Killer for up to 10 seconds if you have the perk maxed out. So yeah, we can now heal ourselves. I did use it a lot. I do feel like if you are injured, one of the first places you tend to go is for the basement for a med kit. We did run some interesting healing builds to get the heals off faster, and I think at one point I had like a 27-second heal down there. So it's basically what a little bit better than self care.
I think it's a lot better than
Well, yeah, a lot
time
better than self
wise.
care
It's
time wise, especially if you have things helping you. We were really trying to time stuff. I think it's a decent healing perk. The only danger really is that you're in the basement, but
and
I
sometimes
feel like a
getting to
lot
the
of
basement.
people, yeah, are getting to the basement, but I feel like a lot of people tend to choose that as a heal spot anyway. So, but we had, I don't know, what do you guys think for this one?
I mean, I tried to use this one.
Hmm.
My biggest issue was trying to get to the basement, and I don't know if it's because
Yeah.
we played the new map for the most part. So getting to the basement there at main building is like out in the no, not quite out in the open, but it's in front of the movie theater. So
Yeah,
I
you're in the
think I
lights.
try I think I tried to use it, but it was like every time like the killer was there.
So while
But
I was using it, she was being chased. I used it a lot.
Queen got to use it. I was trying to run a healing build with it, with like bite the bullet
Hmm.
and things like that, and I was just like, I don't know. But I think it's good that they're putting a healing perk in since they nerfed healing
Yeah.
with medkits. So I'm glad they're adding in a healing perk to give us more options to be able to heal because that's like my biggest thing when I play solo or even duo, like
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring in a way to be able to heal myself,
Yep.
because a lot of the time the killer comes back to the hook, and so a lot of times I run inner healing, but this would be another good perk to run.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on the map. It's just going to be depends on the killer and the map if you can get to the basement. So, Morbid, do you have any thoughts?
No, again, same. Like since we all experienced these together, it was like, cool, this is how this works. But yeah, I like it. I'm someone who tends to go to the basement to look for things, or if I'm like, oh, the killer's coming, I'm gonna go in the basement and hide.
And hide. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is kind of like another inner healing, but I could just hide. So I welcome it. I think this will be the one that I use out of most of her perks, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd probably be the healing perk I would gravitate to if I'm not using inner healing.
Yeah, like you said, definitely a like a solo queue. If I'm caught playing solo queue, I would
Uh-huh.
run this for sure.
So her other perk is Wicked. So Wicked actually is going to be changed. So let me tell you what it was in the PTB. Oh my God, I got rid of my notes.
All right.
Hold
Okay.
on, let me
You
go.
got it.
I,
I
one
can add
moment,
it.
please. Technical difficulties.
I mean, I have it.
I got it right here.
No.
Okay. So and it did say like in the notes that it was going to be changed. In the PTB, the perk was you start with one token, you get up to a maximum of 5 tokens, and for each token you recover from Mangle 20% faster. And then for each 15 seconds spent in the basement, you gain a token. And while affected by the curse status effect, you can heal faster. So if they had a hex totem on the field, you would heal faster. And so we were kind of pairing this with the healing perk and getting some really fast heals, and worried kind of not using like the whole mangle token thing. However, that's not what it's going to be. So, according to a DBD wiki, the changes are going to be it's going to grant you the ability to successfully unhook yourself when hooked inside the basement, and then the aura of the killer is revealed to you for up to 20 seconds after unhooking yourself or being unhooked. So again, all her perks have to do the basement. So if you are at your salt circle trying to do invocation and you get caught, then you can unhook yourself from the basement. There's no condition saying like you have to unhook somebody else before you. It's essentially just a free basement unhook. So this might make gameplay interesting because a lot of times once you find out where basement is, depending on the killer, you're like, okay, like it's a basement trapper. Don't do anything around basement. But if you had a way to unhook yourself, I think that would be interesting gameplay changes. Unfortunately, we couldn't test it because they had the old version of Wicked. So I don't there's really not gonna be any testing till it goes live, but we'll probably run some custom like kill your friend matches and test some stuff out with this. Cause
Yeah.
I mean like will this like there's nothing saying that you can't pair this with like I don't know. I was about to say deliverance, but I don't think that would matter
Well,
because you
can you
can't
unhook
unhook
it?
yourself.
Does this include second stage unhook?
Yeah, that's the saying. It doesn't tell you. It's not saying if it includes a second
Interesting.
stage unhook.
I mean, if you ran this with off the record,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, against Basement Trapper, you're probably still screwed because he's trapped all upstairs. But anyway, but yeah, to get like maybe even be good like in game where the killer can
Mm-hmm.
camp. If they do hook in the basement, you can get yourself out at least. I don't know. I don't. It's one of those perks. I'm not. It's situational,
Mm-hmm.
and it just depends if you want to use that perk slot for the situational perk. Because not all killers are gonna hook in the basement. It depends on the map. It depends if you go down by basement, obviously.
You can always try to again it's situational
Yeah.
in regards to like basements at shack and you're like, I'm just gonna take him to shack. So if I do go down,
Yeah.
you have like a 75% they're gonna hook you in the basement and you're like, guys don't have to worry, I can get out
Yeah.
because I got this. So you kind
Mm-hmm.
of have to create the situation yourself, I would think, but there's builds you can do to help. But it's
Yeah.
interesting. I want to see how it plays once it's live, but we'll probably have to do some testing to see like what kind of builds you can do with it. But I would say out of all the perks, her best one in my opinion is Strength in the Shadows.
Agreed.
Invocation. I think they're really gonna have to
Yeah.
change that. I don't think people are gonna be running it. If so, it's situational. I think at one point we ran it and we were able to pop one gen that we had been working off far off, like in a
Mm-hmm.
corner, because the killer didn't go kick it, so we got a free pop.
Mhm.
But again, I don't really think it was worth it. So that's Sable. Well, overall, what do you guys think of like her aesthetic?
I love her.
I knew you would.
Morbid has a
I
new
know.
main.
Yeah, it's gonna be her main for sure.
They all come running around together. Queen
She
has
is
Michaela,
adorable. Yeah.
Morbid has Sable, and I'll play Alan Wake forever,
Yeah,
I
I like
guess.
There you
that they're
go.
besties. I like it
Until
added to Michaela's lore.
unless they add another survivor or like tie in another survivor, then I can join
Yeah, there
them
you go.
all.
I'm excited
Oh
to
my
see
god.
cosmetics,
Well, you
like the
never
they're
know.
gonna have. So
Yeah, I'm excited for her cosmetics. In regards to having another survivor, so the killer that came out is the unknown. Let's talk about the unknown's lore. Unknown's lore was all about somebody named Olivia.
it was weird.
Apparently, Olivia
And
might be in some other lore in
yeah,
the
that's what
game,
people were saying. I think Polly mentioned something about it when I was
in
watching
the
his stream.
in the Arkham
And the
Archives lore, but I don't know
yeah,
it, so I don't.
Yeah, we didn't dive that deep. We just read the lore for the unknown,
yeah,
and that was as far as we got.
yeah, but it was all about Olivia doing research on like urban legends and origins and then learning about what happened in Greenville in regards to like someone just disappearing on stage and then the person searching for that person, which would be so Michaela disappeared, Sable went and searched, disappeared as well, and then going in there trying to figure out like what happened and like researching the unknown. It talks about her theories and stuff and everything going back to like the 1800s for disappearances, a secret government research program. But essentially, she ends up in this hotel room. She draws like a picture of what she thinks the unknown is. And then the unknown is just like stalking her from the bathroom. And the unknown gets pulled into the fog and she just sees like all these tentacles. And then at the moment when it happens, it's like a will she or won't she kind of scenario. Like, is she going to go into the fog or not? Is essentially kind of what happens. She's just standing there trying to figure out, like, is she going to step forward? She doesn't know what to do. So I think there's a possibility that maybe, especially since she's, I think, in the archives somewhere, that we might have another survivor. People are speculating. But yeah, we didn't really. I think this is one of the instances where like the lore is not from like killer's point of view or like a background of the killer
Yeah,
because
it
it's
was
all
weird.
speculation of what the killer is. And we do have a hypothesis that the way the killer looks is how Olivia rendered the killer and what she drew. But maybe if they come up with other skins, maybe the unknown can take other shapes depending on what people fear or how people perceive the unknown. So I'm kind of hoping for cosmetics that are different
Yeah.
for the unknown. But what do you guys think of the lore and it being from like a someone else's perspective completely?
I was not a huge fan. I'll just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to know like where the unknown came from. If it is an
Mm-hmm.
urban legend, is it really an urban legend? So yeah, I was not a fan of the lore. I don't know if we want to talk about here like the teasers and stuff too,
Yeah.
because if they are doing this thing where it's based off the perspective of whoever the unknown is, I guess, terrorizing, right? Like in this
Hmm.
case, it's Olivia. Like, how did that fit into the teasers they had? So they had like a bunch of teasers with text messages, but then the ones I'm thinking of are the video ones. So they came out with
Mm-hmm.
one that was a home surveillance footage of the backyard, and you could see like the elbow, I guess, of the unknown, like part of it, like crawling. And then, of course, we had the really creepy tent teaser that
Yes.
terrorized everyone,
It scared
and
me.
with the multiple like mouths and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a real fan of the lore. I wish there was something a little more concrete. I mean, I'm not against it taking different streams. I just kind of wish we knew that. Like, where did this
Hmm.
urban legend come from? Like,
Mm-hmm.
who who started it, or like what were the events leading up to it terrorizing Greenville? Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm not up on all the lore, but like the Dredge, he reminds me kind of like the Dredge in terms of lore, but I mean, the Dredge had origin lore, so I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's kind of a mystery. I imagine in the next rift we should get will be probably the Unknown and Sable.
Yeah.
So I imagine we'll get more there. I just wish, but this is like base lore. Like I feel like we find out a lot about Olivia, and Olivia's not even the survivor. I think that's the other thing too. It's like it's not
Yeah.
Sable. Well, we already have lore for Sable, but it's like
Mhm.
Olivia. Even if she's in the other lore, like I don't know who she is. Like I wish it was a character that was more recognizable. I wish maybe it should have been from oh my gosh, what's his name? Michaela's friend that's in the lore.
That's in Michaela's lore.
Her friend that's mentioned in the
Ooh,
lore.
I'd have to
Starts
look
with
his
a
name
J,
up.
doesn't it?
I will check for you.
But like he's in Michaela's lore and he's in Greenville obviously. Like I think I would have been more liked it more if it was his perspective maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're already like kind of acquainted with him. Because I think when Julian, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If because I know there was a lot of talk about people thought it would be Julian that entered the fog, like when it was like Michaela's friend, and now we have like Sable. Because Julian's mentioned in Michaela's lore. We didn't know anything about Sable till now. So I think if they had pulled like Julian into being the one with the perspective, because then I would have been more fearful. I've been like, oh, this is Michaela's friend. What's going to happen? Like, you know, like you said, the end is kind of this cliffhanger of
Mm-hmm.
like, does Olivia go in the fog or not? And I'd be like, Julian, like another one of Michaela's friends, like, are we going to get him too? You know, like, I feel like that
Yeah.
would have maybe been a better choice. But like, it's just like, who's Olivia? I have no
Mm-hmm.
freaking clue. And like I am not all up on all the lore from all the rifts. And like if you don't do the rift pass, or if you don't, or if Olivia's just a minor character or barely mentioned, you're not gonna like connect the dots of who Olivia is either. I feel like it needed to be someone more obvious.
What if Olivia is the what?
I mean, she like drew the unknown. And going back to Julian too, Julian disappeared as well. In Michaela's lore, Julian is like bestie, I think roommate.
Mm-hmm.
And Julian disappeared before the whole Michaela
Agreed.
going on the stage and like disappearing.
Maybe he's the unknown.
So
Maybe we'll
I
see
could
him. Then I
see,
could play Julian, and we could
Yeah.
trade.
yeah,
So,
trio.
triple threat.
Yeah, the bestie trio.
I couldn't remember what happened to it, but you could have even placed Julia, even though he disappears, you could have placed this before he disappeared or how he disappeared, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like connected more of the dots to like Julia and Michaela, now Sable, all missing.
The friend group. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After reading her lore, my first thought was that this was like their answer to Slender Man in a way. Which, if
Kind
you're new
of.
to the internet, is a creepypasta created in 2009 and
Well,
has
that,
since
yeah.
spawned a ton of shit. Like, it's a lot. But, I mean, I was thinking of that maybe just because, yes, we know what Slender Man looks like, but his lore changes all the time. At least not like lately, but, in the past, like, people are like, oh my God, what is this? What does he do? But then I kind of go back to like when you guys were talking about urban legends, like, where we grew up in Texas, there are so many urban legends, and those change all the time. They
Mm-hmm.
can morph, they can look different to everybody. Everybody's always like, "Oh, I've seen a chupacabra," or "I've seen like Bigfoot," and they always look different. They always have similar features, but different things. So that's what I'm wondering if maybe the unknown is that he's just the thing, or it is the thing that terrifies people in their dreams, but we don't know what it looks like. Kind of like a mimic, right? Like a lot of people have mentioned mimic online, and he just takes that fear that you have and becomes that thing for you. So I don't know. But he also, like you said, he doesn't really fit a lot of the teasers. So I'm a little confused.
Yeah, and maybe we'll talk about that more once we get into his power as well, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
speculation on his power, and the teasers don't really match the power.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
for
Yeah.
sure.
So I think a lot of people were thinking Skinwalker in regards to the
Oh,
fact
yeah,
that
that was
he seems
a
to
good
mimic
one.
voices, and
Mhm.
his phrases are like things like people would be saying that are like he could pick up around them, and then we get the unknown in the game, and we were just kind of confused. But I can move on to powers. So the unknown comes with 3 perks, and there's a theme with uns. So the first perk is Unbound. And it says pain lingers in the air, an alluring aroma that excites the impulses. When a survivor becomes injured by any means, Unbound activates for it can be up to 30 seconds, and it grants a 5% haste status effect for 10 seconds after vaulting a window. And the effect cannot stack with itself, so you can't like revault it and get the haste effect again. Then there's Undone. It says hope is a delusion that keeps its victims alive. Whenever a survivor fails a skill check while repairing or healing, Undone gains 3 tokens up to a maximum of 30 tokens. And performing the damage generator action on a generator consumes all accumulated tokens and applies the following effects. So it instantly regresses the damage generator by 1% per token of its total progression, blocks the damage generator for 1 second per token, and it causes the damage generator to start regressing once it becomes unblocked. So essentially, if you have your 30 tokens, that's a good chunk. It does have a cooldown of 60 seconds. And then Unforeseen. Terror takes many forms and whispers devastating lies in its victims' ears. Performing the damage generator action on a generator applies Unforeseen for it can be up to 30 seconds. And essentially the killer will transfer the terror radius to the damage generator, and it's a set range of 32 meters, and it grants the undetectable status effect. So kind of similar to some other perks, except you're putting your terror radius on a gen, and you are now undetectable. I feel like for the most part, like videos and stuff I've been listening to, people were kind of like, Unbound, it is what it is. 5% haste, very
Yeah.
situational. You need to be by a window so you can get the, haste effect for the 10 seconds. We didn't see in PTB a lot of people messing around with the Undone. I think this is one of those situations if you have more tenured survivors, unless you're actually like running a build to mess with their skill checks, which you can do, you're really not going to get a lot of use of this. Like there's a specific kind of build you're going to have to run. I will say Unforeseen, we had a lot of jump scares with this. We at the gym be like, are they here? Are they not here? Are they camping the gym? We don't know. Who are they around? But we had a lot of jump scares, especially when the unknown was teleporting around. So I feel like that would be an interesting one to get use on because you're scaring people away from gens and then no one knows where you are. And paired with some other perks, it might be interesting. So, but as Mocking stated, with the perks, I don't know. We just felt like there's a disconnect. I know that a lot of people like the unknown. Like when the unknown loads in, it's like its back is facing you and it turns around with its creepy little screwdriver neck and then like falls to the ground and it crawls. Like so a lot of people thought they were gonna have like a crawling killer. It doesn't do that. It just does that on the screen. And then
Yeah.
like it pops up and a lot of people had the jump scare like when the face pops up on the screen. I feel like we were kind of pretty unimpressed. Like a lot of people like it. A lot of people thought his aesthetic was really creepy. We I feel like it's kind of cartoony.
I think he
Yeah,
looks
same.
goofy.
I
He
did
looks
too.
goofy.
I was like,
Now,
"Hi, you're so cute."
yeah.
I was expecting the creepy face that everyone screenshotted
Yeah.
Yeah.
from the tent trailer, like the close up shot with the mouth you could see was kind of like
Mhm.
all weird. I was expecting that. Okay, like that was the expectation. That's what you showed us. And then
Yeah,
there's also the
exactly.
shot with like the two like mouths, so the front and then like on the side of the head. Like I was
Mhm.
expecting something like really creepy. And I think he looks kind of goofy. Like I do not get the fear from him. There's a disconnect because, and also the crawling. Everyone thought it was going to crawl because of all the
Mhm.
That
teasers too.
that would have been way cooler.
The two videos we talked about like feature him crawling, and he does like when he breaks a pallet, he kind of bends backwards
Mhm.
onto like all fours, and then the Mori has him crawling, but like nowhere else. Like I don't know. I guess do we want to move on to power or
Yeah, we can move on to
and then we
power.
can
Yeah.
maybe we'll do that and then we'll talk. I do have some thoughts on some of the perks, but
The power. So the unknown has a gently used axe for the M1. In regards to power, the unknown's power is UVX. So some believe the specimen was recovered by the military for their experiments, the code name Unknown Venom X. So special ability
Mm.
UVX projectile. So you press and hold the power button to charge UVX. Once it's fully charged, you press the attack button to launch a bouncing projectile, which creates a blast area upon impact. So essentially has an area effect or an AoE, and the projectile can bounce off stuff before like it lands and creates area effect. So survivors touching an airborne projectile suffer from a 3% hinder status effect for 3 seconds, and survivors touching the blast area become weakened and will lose health states if touching another blast area. And the UVX projectiles have a cooldown of 7 seconds. Survivors now have a new health state, which is weakened. It's a special interaction, staring down the unknown. Survivors can remove their weakened state by successfully staring down the unknown for 10 seconds. So if you're being chased, looking behind you, looking at it, it's kind of similar to, I would say, like a ghosty, when you're staring down a ghosty, except it will remove that weakened state. So look behind you if you're being chased. Specialty hallucinations. Unknown will intermittently create hallucinations. A maximum of 4 hallucinations can coexist in the environment. Hallucinations cannot be created while charging UVX, performing interactions, or while in proximity to several environmental objects. He can essentially drop these, and you really don't have much control over the hallucinations, but you kind of do, because again, they can't be created while you're charging. So if you're charging, you can essentially then kind of decide like where you're going to drop it if you stop charging. It says whenever survivors are touched by a blast or otherwise become weakened, the spawn time of the next hallucination is reduced by 10 seconds. And the hallucinations, there's a lot, guys. I feel like this killer does so much. The
I
hallucinations assist with teleporting. So the unknown can teleport to any available hallucination that is at least 3 meters away from it, leaving behind a temporary decoy for 5 seconds. And teleportation has a 25-second cooldown. So, what can survivors do? So, essentially, kind of like HAG, survivors can dispel the hallucination. It takes 4 seconds to complete. However, if you're weakened, it does reduce the dispelling speed by 25%. And if you fail to complete the dispel action, it causes you to become weakened as a survivor, and it can trigger killer instinct on them for 5 seconds. So, if you do it wrong, or you'll get that killer instinct and you can get weakened. The unknown is kind of like a combination of like, I want to say like artist and hag and like dredge kind of throw in there is kind of how we were equating him. We're playing against him, but I feel like he does a lot. So I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on everything the boy can do. A lot of people had fun playing him, which I completely understand. I think there is a learning curve, especially with the projectile kind of getting right and having those bounces. But we had a lot of unknowns that were just teleporting all over the place. Like they were figuring out how to kind of get their teleports in places that they want. And then there are perks where you can't necessarily see the hallucination, and sometimes you just run up on it. And
Yeah, that was a big thing.
yeah, and they can teleport to the hallucination as you are dispelling it too,
Mm-hmm.
as
Which
well.
is scary.
Yeah, especially if they didn't have a terror radius.
Well,
All of a sudden they're right in
also
front of you.
to mention, when you dispel, it's a special animation, so you can't look around you. You're like in this kind of almost
You're
Yeah.
first
stuck.
person perspective of looking at it, so you don't know if the killer's coming up behind you or
Hmm.
anything. So, which is cool. Like I like the animation, but yeah, you don't. It doesn't stay in that third person perspective. It's kind of a risk to dispel. And I really don't. I guess the only way you would mess up the dispel is if you stop doing it, because there's not like skill checks or anything. You just hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's it. It's not like hard to dispel. You just gotta decide if you're gonna dispel it or not.
Yeah. And
Um.
depending on perks, it can be surprising. Like there are
Mm-hmm.
perks that you can't see because typically you can see the little aura of the hallucination in like white when you're around it, but there are some perks I think that make you not be able to see it.
Like oblivious.
Like
Oblivious.
oblivious, and all of a sudden like you turn a corner, it's there, and it's like, oh, I gotta dispel now. Like it's literally just on you. So, but I don't know. What do you guys, Maki, I'll have you go first because you had thoughts about this, and maybe you can like integrate your perk thoughts as well.
Okay. Well, it took a while to get the hang of it. I feel like, and watching other content creators too, like even though they gave us this information, I don't think anyone really understood how to play him at first. But
Mhm.
basically, he has like a grenade, is what
Mhm.
his power is. You shoot this like grenade out of your neck, out of your like other mouth, basically. And I think I don't think it's OP. Like you can definitely, run from the grenade. It's very dependent on how good the killer is. But I did see in a video where someone used it and hit it on the ceiling right below
Mhm.
a survivor on a gen, and it does go through the floor. So I don't know how I feel about that. If
Oh,
that's
that's
the case,
interesting.
like if you're on a indoor map, like if you could just hit the ceiling and the blast radius goes through the floor, not a fan of that, but that'll be something we need to test because I think his power is fine. I think like we've talked about, it's the disconnect between the teasers and this. And
Mhm.
that's where I've gotten caught up on. I'm like, this is not what was I feel like this is not what was teased to us, but of course we've had this before with Skull Merchant. Remember when
Mhm.
they had the teaser of like this box and we're like, do we have to open the box? What's in the box? Like,
We've been
and then it was just the
bamboozled.
map. It was just the map update. And I don't know why they
Mhm.
showed us this random box. The teleport is very strong though because it's
Mhm.
instant. Unlike earlier we talked about like the dredge, like you instantly go to it, but it does have a cooldown, so it's not like you're zapping across the map. And it took some time to figure out how the hallucinations work because basically on the side of your screen as you play the unknown, there's like kind of this color meter that goes up,
Mhm.
and when it gets to the top, that's when you're about to drop a hallucination. So you don't really have control over when to drop it because it is based on if you're close to other things. Like the meter won't fill if you're by hooks. I mean, you can definitely like stand in one spot and wait for it and place it if it's close, but you're not just hitting a button and drop a hallucination. So I'll go back to perks because we didn't go through the perks. I know you kind of said you didn't think Unbound would be that good. I think pairing this with Bamboozle will be very good. I think that's what a lot of people were
Well,
doing
yeah. Mhm.
in PTB. So this is the one where you vault the window and you gave some haste. But of course, the survivor has to be injured. So you do have to injure them first. So I think this is a mid-level perk. It's a good chase perk. And I think Unforeseen will be fun. I can see myself using Unforeseen. This is the one where you put your terror rays
Oh,
in a
heck
gen.
yeah.
Anything that
Oh,
will
okay.
like let you sneak up on survivors, I think will
Mhm.
be a lot of fun
Yeah.
and confusing. So it's like Dark Devotion, but on a gen. So, and it has a cooldown of 30 seconds, so you can like use it over and over again. I know we had a match where one of the unknown was running it, but I feel like once you know, you can kind of play around it. Because I remember we
Mhm.
were trying to get the last like gen done. So you were on one and I was on one, and he come kicking. I'm like, okay. But it was like on bad. I'm like, okay, I see him walking down the street. Like, we're fine for right now. And as far as
We
undone,
died for that gin, I'll tell you.
oh yeah, I got it done though. So
I died for that gin.
we're gonna consider a win.
It
Like,
was worth
Yeah.
it.
undone, I don't. It's very dependent on the survivor's missing skill checks.
Okay.
Which I will say, I do miss skill checks. You know why? When you get off the gen, I am so frustrated.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why sometimes it explodes when you get off. I'm like, there wasn't even a
Yeah.
skill check. Skill check. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's very dependent on making the survivors miss a skill check, which they do.
You'll have to have a build, and there's
You have
some
to have a
nasty
build.
skill check builds you
A
can
skill
do.
check doctor would
Yeah, for
probably
sure.
love
Yeah,
this.
that's what I was thinking. Doctor skill check
But
person.
for
Yeah.
overall killers, I don't know. There's some I would definitely not.
Merciless storm doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, the power. All that being said, I know a lot of people are having fun with this power. I think it's fun. I think it's just I'm still trying to like get over the disconnect between like the teasers and what we got, and how
Yeah.
not scary he is. I'm like, I know
Yikes.
some people think he's like cute, and I'm like, yeah, he's probably on like the cuter, like adorable side, kind of disgusting. He is like weird to look at, but and he does
I
have
mean,
lines that he says that are like taken from previous victims.
yeah.
Um,
Essentially, he's just Killer Dwight.
yeah, there was a meme with that
They
that we looked
look
at.
very
They
similar.
twisted
That's all
Dwight's
I'm
face.
saying.
Dwight. Everything's about Dwight. Dwight's the face. So
Oh,
yeah, we
Killer
gotta make
Dwight.
Anna. So I'm hoping they come out with some scarier cosmetics. So
Agreed.
I think that's all I have. I think
Um,
his power is fine. We'll have to see. live, I guess, if they change anything or not. I don't think they will. I feel like he has, overall in this chapter, he has the better perks over Sable.
Oh,
I feel like
110%.
aesthetically Sable is better,
Yeah,
but his
Yeah.
perks are better overall.
are better. I agree.
So Morbid,
Eh,
what do you got?
yeah, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a killer person, so I don't know how to do any of this stuff. But the hallucinations were interesting. I thought they were kind of not fun to go against, but I'm like, oh, that's not a killer. Okay, we're fine. Like it was just a
Yeah.
shocking kind of thing. So I think that's going to bring an interesting aspect to. So yeah, I wonder. I feel like things might change. I don't know if people are gonna be like, oh, I can't see it. It scared me. Like, and if that's something they would address. I don't know. But
Are you
I
talking
don't
about
know.
the hallucinations?
I meant the hallucinations. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I meant the because you said you can't see them. Like if you have.
Well, it depends on like I think there's an add-on that you can run. Certain add-ons can make you like oblivious,
Okay, so that was something you mentioned. Yeah,
or make you like
we can cut
not
this
see
out if
the
it's stupid.
hallucinations. So sometimes you're running up on them, and if you run up on them, you just have a split second to click to dispel it.
Oh, okay, okay,
If not, that's when you're going to get that killer instinct. So, and I
okay.
also say like it was really weird when you're just spelling. I felt like the button was almost sticking. Like it's not
Yeah,
like automatic. It's not like seamless. Like there's that brief moment like you're clicking it and you're like, is this even working?
I noticed that
Um,
too, and I thought it was just me.
no, yeah, I feel like it's a mechanic. So it's not like a smooth mechanic. So when you come up on it, it can be very surprising if you didn't see it. And then you're not sure if you're dispelling it. So I had a couple of times where I clicked it, didn't realize I had started to dispel it, and then I unclicked the button, and then you mess up, and then you start to get weakened, and then killer instinct, like it just rolls.
Yeah.
So yeah, the dispelling I don't feel like is super smooth mechanic because there are a lot of times where I was just like, I'm holding the button and it's not telling me I'm expelling, like the meter doesn't go up right away.
Yeah, there's a
There's a
few
couple
times
seconds, yeah.
that I let go because I was like, "Is this
At least on
working?"
controller.
Oh
So
yeah, controller for sure. I'm not
yes,
sure if
I'm not
mouse
sure
had this
on
issue.
keyboard if you had the same lag for dispelling. Did you have the same lag on keyboard? I'm sorry, it cut
No.
out.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't notice anything with the spell, but I don't
Maybe it
know.
was
Okay.
just for
Maybe it
the
really is just controller.
controller.
Yes, Morbid and I play controller.
I did a lot of the spelling. I didn't notice like a lag.
Okay,
Yeah,
I felt it on controller then.
same.
It,
So yeah, it must just maybe be that like a bug or something that we noticed.
or
But
just
I was
how it
like,
is.
yeah, because I was
Just
like, am I cleanse? I'm not cleansing, but like
Dispelling,
dispelling
like I
him.
didn't know for, and so I kept like unclicking the button, and I was like, oh, I was, but it didn't. The meter didn't start going up right away when I was clicking it on the controller.
no, I didn't. Yes, it just means you need to switch to mouse and keyboard, y'all, and be real gamers.
I knew what it was. I knew it. I
Excuse
was like,
me,
they're just trying to
I
push us to that
can't do mouse and
outdated.
keyboard because half the time I'm leaning back in my chair and I have a cat on my chest.
I was like, they're just trying to push us to that outdated, antiquated technology that is mouse and keyboard.
I like when I do game the controller. I feel like it's more relaxing than if I'm playing mouse or keyboard.
No, you need to be
I feel
hunched over
so
and intent.
stressed
Like,
when I do mouse and keyboard. Whereas like they'll hear me, we'll be playing and
Yeah.
Mocking be like, "What are you doing?" Petting my cat and cleansing a totem, about to go hide in the locker. Like,
it's
Hey,
that, or we hear,
sometimes.
"Oh, cat, cat," and you're
oh
like
Yeah.
cat,
panicking.
cat, cat.
It's that, or you're panicking because the cat jumped on you, and you're like, "I
Yeah.
have a cat,
Yeah,
I have a cat." I'm
I'm
like,
trying to
"Okay."
get situated, like, because she wants me to lean back and she wants to curl up on my chest, or she wants to go like slide down the back of my chair and get on my lumbar support pillow because I'm old. Yeah, but I'll be running, playing. I'm also cat, cat.
So
But
then
hey,
we
if
then
it
we
was,
know we have to cover for her and go like get the
yeah,
unhook or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we gotta go.
we
You go
gotta
with cat.
cover. We also got a new map, which I think I'm most excited for, other than
Yes.
the new Survivor. Greenville Square. It is part of the Withered Isle realm, which is Garden Joy. The map is there as well. It's really cool. I liked it. Aesthetically, it's very nice. So it is a movie theater. We do actually get the full little movie theater building. It is tiny, but it's got the whole actual like movie theater, projector room, a whole concession area. It's got a little arcade. Everyone go in there and drop the pallet in the arcade and you're welcome.
Yep.
Um,
Easter egg.
Easter egg. And then outside of it, it has a parking lot. Then it has like a whole little park. There is everyone go to the fountain, or not the fountain. Go look at the statue in the middle of the park. Another little Easter egg there. Aesthetically, it's very nice. I'm glad we have a new map. You can tell they put a lot of work into it, and it's very lovely.
The
My
downside.
one issue with the map. So of course, being a map, I had to run Deja and be Rainbow Map because I have to see where everything is. So the one thing I did notice is that if you do all the outside gens would be kind of like back in the little square where the statue is. An outside gen would be considered like the gen in the projector room. Sometimes there's a gen that spawns right outside the theater. If you do the outside gens, then all the gens in the middle are in a straight line.
Gen placement's
So
good on this map.
gen placement, RNG, for the most part when we rolled in, Deja went straight to the middle by shack because sometimes there's a gen in shack and there was two gens created like an L shape outside of shack. Only one time did the three gens start at building where it was projector room, and then it was the first kind of RNG change where I saw a gen spawn right outside the entrance, and then there was a gen like off to the side by a tile. But most of the time, if you did not do two gens in the middle, you ended up with a straight line 3 gen where the killer could stand at the middle gen and just see the other two. So yeah, so people who yelled at me because I was not doing anything, I was trying to break the 3 gen that you were running around, and that's why I was standing in the corner.
Waiting for you to leave.
Killer
There's
up.
also like a dead zone too in that map. I feel
There
there's
is a dead
like
zone towards the back.
and towards the back, like kind of
Oh, yeah.
to like if you're looking at the theater to the right, there's like a jungle gym. Sometimes there was like nothing over there. Like so,
Mhm.
I wish they would spawn like a gen over there.
Mhm.
During some, yeah, the gens are basically almost in a line from like the projector room to the statue. There's like a line. They're like in
That's
a
a line of
line,
gens, like
and you
4 of
and
them.
there's like yeah, it could be 3 or 4 of them, and then there's like sometimes one like on the other side of shack. Like there's a couple others that could be on some sides, but you have to do like
You have to
the
do middle
middle.
gens.
You have to do the ones in the middle, or else the map is not split.
We learned that very fast.
Yeah, so aesthetically, yeah, the map is gorgeous.
Yeah, I love it.
Love the movie theater, love the arcade and the details. We got concessions with an unknown.
Mhm.
Which we had so much fun
We did
playing
have
with.
fun. Yeah. Maps where you can like go behind and like serve the killer or the other survivors are always fun. Like in
Yes.
Ormond,
Role
where it's
play.
like Dead Dog and Ormond have that as well. Like
Yeah,
here.
he even said he was like, "Thanks for the role play."
Yeah. So,
Um,
and there is also something in the concessions behind the candy. So if you go
mhm.
back behind the counter in
Oh,
Morpish,
yeah, there's some cute little, like,
if
Easter eggs.
you may
Mhm.
not want to eat from this theater, but
Yeah, I have questions about their rating from the health inspector.
I do
yeah,
think their pizza, hot dog, and drink combo is a pretty good deal. Yeah, but it's
Except
cute.
except that they have a donut, like, special, and they don't have any donuts.
Well, I mean, it's a little rundown, but I mean, it's cute because there's movie posters,
hmm
a lot of nice, intricate stuff. Like, we all wanted the map with Trickster, and I think this is a good
Yes.
map to add. I still would like a Trickster map and be like outside. I don't know.
I want like a
Soul or
K-pop neon
something.
Yeah,
lights,
K-pop, yeah.
Something
lots of
K-pop
neon lights.
related.
But again, I think a lot of people were very happy with the map. However, gen placement, please do the middle gens, or you're just going to have gens in a straight line. I think the other kind of, I don't know if it was complaint observation, occasionally there are 3 big rock sets spawn, and in a little row, and there's 2 pallets right there. So you have these 3 rocks, and between, the rocks in the middle and the 2 on the outside, you have pallets. So it does create like a little run thing. I did run it for a little while because you can kind of time like when you're dropping the pellets and you have a nice little loop. Again, the killer's going to have to break them, lose blood less if you're running it. I did see sometimes it can spawn multiple. We did have one map where that specific set of 3 rocks with the 2 tiles kind of spawned twice catty corner to each other. So, but I have heard people talk about that. So I don't know if that's something you're going to fix because they seem to always spawn close to a tile that tends to have a window, so it can be a pretty strong loop if you run it right. So look out for that and see if that's something that changes. There were some unique, they did say there's going to be like new tile setups in here as well, but I will say like if you are doing like the back gen by the statue, you don't really have a lot going for you other than sometimes there's a pallet by a picnic table.
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty bad, but again, middle gens first, guys, and then you can worry about outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
pop that invocation at the end, right?
Yeah, at the end. I don't know what you guys think of the map.
Why don't you go, Morbid? I talked a little bit.
Yeah.
I loved it. I really liked it. I liked at first when we like loaded in the back and I was like, wait a minute, I thought we were supposed to be in a movie theater, but you're just kind of like outside the movie theater and then you can go in and there's a lot of really fun loops and like ways to jump out of windows and vault stuff and I think the interactions with the map are fun and I think they did a great job on this one. I'm not sure if like other people who've played it are like this map sucks, but I like it. But I'm also pretty easy to please sometimes when it comes to maps. I just like new maps.
I think it's
something
nice.
different, and I think it's got great aesthetics. Yeah, I really like what we were talking about with the arcade, where if you throw the pallet, you get like a nice surprise. We did try the what is it?
The movie projector.
The movie projector.
Yeah, I was gonna mention it. Go for it.
Yeah, but then I noticed on Reddit something that I was looking at. It apparently it can turn on, but no one knows how to turn it on yet.
Oh, yeah. We were hoping if you did the gen in the projection room, it would turn on the movie projector.
Yeah, because I follow the leaks subreddit that is on Reddit, and I guess that someone had posted that it does turn on, but no one knows how to turn it on. And I'm like, well, then how do we know it turns on?
Well, maybe they turned it off for PTB and are saving it for live. Is my other thought.
Maybe. So I'm wondering if maybe like you know how in Nostromo you could find the key card. Maybe there's something like that. Like you have to find
maybe
I don't know
a switch or something.
A switch or a key or who knows what to turn it on. So I'm interested to see how we do that because that would be so cool to just have something randomly play. I just like little things like that, like Easter eggs that they throw in. So yeah, like we said, we did try to do that one and nothing happened. So, but I guess we'll find out when it goes live and hopefully we can figure it out and then we can do that like we do Nostromo. We're always trying to find the key card.
Well, Nostromo and then like also Larry's if you do the middle gen and the middle of the map, like all the stuff turns on, the lights turn on and stuff starts moving around. So something like that where like if the movie would come on.
And like Silent Hill, if you do
like the
specific
clock tower goes off.
The clock tower goes off.
It opens up if you do the science and the music
so
room.
maybe that was our problem. We didn't do like the right combination.
Yeah, I mean, we also talked about if there'll be a golden toolbox on this map.
Yeah, I for some reason remember that being a thing, and I was like, wait, is that one here?
Yeah, we haven't seen the golden toolbox in a while, but we didn't know if that's because, like, the last map we got. Well, there's a golden toolbox on.
There's one on Hawkins.
On Hawkins, and there's a golden toolbox on the map we were just talking about for Pyramid Head.
Yes, they're very hard to get though.
Yeah,
the one on Midwich is super hard. It's super hidden, but I haven't seen anything on Nostromo, so I don't know if they put it in or not. I don't know if that's something since Alien's license if they have to work out or something. I don't know if that's a big deal.
Yeah,
the licenses, so they could definitely do it on this one. Obviously, it's
were even wondering like. I don't even know if there's a golden toolbox on the House of Joy, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. I need to search Polly's videos because he's the one that usually.
Oh, sorry, Garden of Joy, not House of Joy. Sorry, guys, I'm thinking of Chinese right now.
Well, I knew what you're talking about.
I was like, wait a minute, isn't that Chinese
Is
restaurant.
it that? Yeah, it's our Chinese restaurant. Sorry. Garden of
now,
Joy.
now everyone wants Chinese food.
Now everyone knows what I'm gonna be ordering from DoorDash after this.
Oh my
Um
god. Well, it
uh
looks like it's on yeah, there is one on the Garden of Joy.
okay, I haven't seen it. I'll have to
It
figure it
is
out.
in the tree house.
Oh. Oh, I think now I remember. Yeah.
Oh wow, I would never see that.
It's
Yeah,
hard to see. I wish they would make them a little more obvious.
so I guess Withered Isle and then Garden of Joy.
I mean, I
Like
Mhm.
guess I guess I can play. Now I'm thinking about it, Hattie, since apparently Hattie's on the same type of map.
so
Oh, that's right. Oh,
apparently
I love Hattie.
I wonder if they could
according to
tie
this,
Hattie into.
yeah, according to this, it spawns on 20 realms. Well, it says realm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes up to 20. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if
don't
that's
think
all
it's.
of them.
I don't think it's on the older maps because I don't know when they started doing that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
incorporating
Mhm.
it.
it
Also,
hasn't. Yeah, it just hasn't been found on some of them. So
yeah, also with the map, if you look outside the boundary, there's stuff floating like on
Mhm.
yeah,
Hattie's
Like on
map. Mm-hmm. Like
yeah,
there's
which
the
is cool.
train and stuff that's like
like on Garden of
on
Joy.
Garter Joy. That's on the
Same
outside.
aesthetic on the outside, yeah.
Mm-hmm. With
Which is
stuff floating.
interesting. Yeah, we were going over looking at all this stuff. I will say building, you do have some limited palettes in building. Like in the movie theater, you have a palette like right in the middle. There are some vaults, there are some holes to drop down, 2 vaults. We thought the arcade palette was gonna be pretty weak, but we had a lot of fun running that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot stronger than we thought, but we did notice that some killers were not willing to run it for very long before leaving. So, but also minimal resources. Once you drop those pallets in there, it becomes more open. The only area you probably really don't want to get caught is in the bathroom, as there is nothing in there other than
Mm-mm.
lockers. There's a
Yeah, I got
chest,
caught in there.
and there's a
There's a
wall
vault.
drop down. Yeah, there's a vault, but that's probably the one place you do not want to get caught. However, I did notice that it being a locker hider, that if you were in the projector room and walked across to the bathroom, I never had anyone go check those lockers. So they are now, probably. Sorry, I ruined it for you guys, but
Spoiler.
most of the time they would just drop down the hole in the projection room or go out like the window and go down the stairs. But yeah, I think that's it. I think 10 out. I enjoyed the map, but again, do the middle gen.
I hope they will
Heed the warning.
do some about gen placement because going back to what we've talked about in previous episode with the 3 gen situation, they didn't touch gen placement at all, and I'm just like I'm seeing that more and more like
Yeah.
on this map. Like y'all did not space out these gens, so hopefully maybe they'll tweak the RNG. I feel like there's one section of the map where there's never been a gen spawn, and I'm like I don't
Hmm.
know why.
Which is funny because one of my big complaints for gen placement spawns is Garden of Joy. And now
Yeah,
they're in the same realm because Garden of
yeah,
Joy has the ones that tend to
in
spawn
the
right next to
street.
each other in the street, literally right by each other, with a third either to like the left or right, either by shack or kind of in the corner with the cars where you can vault. And I would say I kind of have the same complaint here. You have those. So far, it was like there was 2 that always spawned right by each other by shack, and then there was option of either having one in shack or another like one behind shack. And then you always had I haven't seen the projector run move. That's always been there, and we always
No.
had one by the statues. So that's kind of what creates your straight line.
Yeah,
Um,
I imagine the projector room will be the achievement for the map. Be
that's
the
what I'm
projector
thinking.
room, because that one didn't move,
Or
and
the statue.
it makes sense. Yeah, it'll be the other statue. I imagine it'll be the projector room
That's what
though.
I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
But it's cool. If someone's running the theater, you can sit up there in the projector room and just watch them. So it's like you're watching a movie.
There you go. Run
Because
Bond.
you
It's like
can't
you're
see
always
down.
watching a movie.
Yeah, bring Bond. I think that's it. Anyone have any other thoughts, comments, questions, concerns,
No,
observations?
I think that's it. I think that's
Yeah, I
everything.
think that's it. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll
I
get
mean, this
some.
one was a big update, so like there's a
Yeah,
lot.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. This one ran long, but we did talk about also the stats and the killer tweaks and Iron Maiden, and so hopefully
Yeah.
the unknown will get some scarier cosmetics. I know
Yeah.
more people was looking. There were some leaks for some of the
Yeah, for
weapons.
the weapons, yeah.
For weapons, yeah.
So we'll have to see what that brings. I'm just hoping we get something that looks anything similar to the tent
Right?
version.
Maybe we'll have like a ranger.
Because everyone was freaking out, like, what WTF is this? Like, and we
I mean, it
didn't
was
get that.
scary because you hear the unknown talking outside the tent, and it's like slowly unzipping it. And
Oh, that was
from
terrifying.
that teaser, I would not think that the unknown was wearing clothes, carrying around an axe. Because it's
Mm-mm.
not like the person was axed to death. It really was like
No,
they were just eaten.
they were
Oh, we
mauled.
didn't talk about the Mori.
Oh, we
Oh
didn't
my
talk.
God.
Oh, okay. Yep, we're
Okay.
going back. We're not done.
Okay,
Don't
yeah.
worry.
So the Mori. So essentially, the Mori. Also, if you're doing the Mori, the survivor jumps a good bit of time, and a lot of people had issues with them going into like a wall or a bush. You do the Mori in a clear area. Make sure there's nothing around because the survivor's body just jump. But essentially, the survivor's like calling away. The unknown gets down and skitters like over them, and its little curvy neck is looking at them, and then it just like tentacles into the eyes and nose and ear, and then the survivor just kind of like evaporates into dust.
I think it
Um,
eats it or something. It like
yeah,
Yeah.
but it
ingests
doesn't
it.
pull it in though. It's like it turns into dust
It
and
like
it like
slurps
ingests
it.
the dust. Yeah. I thought it was pretty mid in regards to Maury's.
I was not
I was
impressed.
yeah, I was kind of hoping like I'd grab it with the tentacles and like pull it into its back stomach.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah.
again,
What'd you guys
it
think?
crawls and it doesn't crawl in its power. I think this is where the disconnect is. It's like, why is it
It
crawling
has
here? It
that
doesn't
skitter.
crawl
Yeah.
in its animation at all. I feel like this is like the hang up is the crawling. Like, why is it crawling here? It doesn't crawl when it chases you. There's no crawlability. Like it's not using like the projectile like in the Mori or anything. I don't know. I don't know what would be a better Mori. It's just kind of eh. There are killers that have way better Moris, more disgusting Moris,
You
more
know what would have
gruesome Moris. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if it would have been this cool, but like what if like when the Mori they like morph into another survivor or something and then like they kill you and they morph back and I don't know. I don't
The
know if
thing
it's
is,
a
like,
mimic. So
well, it's like they couldn't figure it out. Like, I think a lot of people were thinking like a skinwalker or like a mimic in regards to like because of the voice lines of its past like victims kind of thing. But again, I think the skitter would be scarier if that's something that actually like
yeah.
happened when it was chasing you. It could go into like that would be its run animation and kind of like Alien where it can then like stand up and like M1 you. But even just something like I don't want to put this out in the world because it would terrify me. Chucky can go under pallets. I feel like if the killer could skitter, it could go over pallets,
mm-hmm.
like skitter
Ooh,
over them. Like I feel like there was a missed opportunity because that
that's
animation is
terrifying.
so creepy. Like if it skittered, I think I would be more scared.
Yeah. Because
Um,
right now he's just kind of goofy and lovable.
he just kind of lops around, kind of has like the hillbilly swagger going on
Mhm.
when it's running after you. It's got an axe. Like even if it didn't have the axe and it just had like a claw or something, I think that would be
Yeah, because
scarier.
people were equating the axe to like Huntress. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like Huntress holds two hand did with the
Yeah.
axe, but like it was just kind of random. Like, it has an axe. I think part of it is also because there's no lore. We don't have this lore that's like the unknown takes things from its victims. So then we know, oh, okay, it's taking like random objects and weapons from people. So it found this axe, so maybe with different
Hmm.
cosmetics, it will have different weapons that it gets that it collects from its victims. But we don't have any of that information, so then it just seems random. Like he has an axe
Yeah.
because he needs a sharp weapon to hit survivors with, and that's why he has it. That pretty much seems like what it is. I think it's because we have no lore. It's just like, why is he like this? Why is he crawling in some animations? Why is he crawling in the teasers? But he doesn't crawl any
Unless
time
he's mooring you.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like his power has nothing to do with crawling. So why does he crawl in the Mori? Why is he crawling in the teasers? Like, I have
And then he
no
doesn't
idea.
chop you up with the axe in the Mori, and he doesn't
No?
use his
That's
projectile in
true.
the Mori. He uses tentacles, which aren't used any other
Out of the
part of the
back.
gameplay. Yeah, out the back, which is not used like in gameplay at all. I don't
Yeah.
know. I do feel like there's a disconnect in because most of the time the killer, whatever they Dew is involved in the Mori, and yeah,
Yeah, like they use
those are
their
our
weapon.
thoughts.
It's just
That's
not
the Mori.
the more. Yeah, it seems like
A Mori.
I feel like the killer's kind of a mixed bag. Like the power isn't
Hmm.
bad, but it's just like as an overall package, it seems like I feel like different people worked on different things and then they put it all together. And so it's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
you had people working on like the teasers, but then that didn't match up with like the killer power. And because I love the teasers. Like I think the teasers for this
The
chapter
teasers
were
were
great.
good.
They had
Yeah, they
the
were
text
wonderful.
messages. So you heard about the movie theater and the text messages, which is why we have the movie theater. And then the creepy videos, like,
Hmm.
those were great. But then like we got this and it has nothing to do with the crawling. It's just all over the place. I feel like they didn't work together. Like the different departments of behavior didn't work together to like put it
Doesn't
all
feel
together.
cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
But we love the map.
Yeah,
Map
the map's
Sable A
great.
plus. Map and
Yeah.
Sable aesthetic, not perks, but the way yeah, she's
Yeah.
gorgeous. She has voice lines too, so I'm
He
glad they're
does. Hmm.
I'm glad they're like incorporating more voice lines because I do like the voice lines on the
Yes.
Survivor because it's just more reaction and more characterization of the
Interesting.
Survivor.
Yeah.
Add some oomph.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those are our thoughts. So, guys, let us know
Yeah.
what you think in the comment sections or on Instagram. We would like to hear your thoughts. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel like it was cohesive? Did you not?
Are you gonna main
Um,
Sable now?
yeah, you're gonna main
Right.
Sable. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh,
Thoughts,
she's gonna be
questions?
adorable. But yeah, so we just hope that you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And bye.
Bye.
Bye.